out the way. What's going on, Blood? How you feeling, my boy?
Motherfucking deal, kid.
Shit, man, we chilling, we chilling. You know what I'm saying? You know, man, I've been trying to get you over here, man. You feel me? Hey, man, we been, hey, you, but, hey, G, why you do me like that, Blood? I know you on the
No,
text.
and you know what? When I got your text, cause I was at work and I didn't get a chance to text you back. I'm like, damn, I ain't mean it like on the other side. I mean, but nigga, every time you do numbers, you ain't gotta text me. I'm looking.
You my man, G. I don't be thinking that line. I just be thinking about because you my guy. And I'm like, folks, you know what I'm saying? Something, well,
No,
my
I
bad,
know
Blood.
you, but now big ups to you though, man. Yeah, man, keep doing your thing. This is the shit we been waiting on.
I just be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, folks, damn, G, man, because I'm trying to figure out, like, why all of a sudden, just so I figured it out that I might just, you know what I'm saying, have to start, dialing back and, you know what I'm saying, just doing, getting into different things and exposing myself into different type of stories. Not just, these type of things with Nola Wells and the Carmelo Anthony's, but just stories that's naturally being talked about. So we're gonna get into the Trumps and we're gonna get into the war and all that shit in a minute as well. But you know what I'm saying? This the hot thing right now. So that's why I was sticking with it. But yeah, man. And just giving my journalistic, analytic, you know what I'm saying, uh, uh, peasant opinion. Well, I ain't gonna say peasant. I ain't want to use the word peasant, but you know what I'm saying. Just the low man opinion, about what's going on and how we feel without it being a narrative being pushed, one way or another. Just being in the neutral. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Mm. Yeah, because that's hard, blood, of being in the neutral. Even because even though, bro, like a lot of this shit, sometimes you might feel one way or you might feel this way. When we doing this, bro, when we up here, like sometimes it's real hard to be neutral. It's real hard to, what I'm saying, not project how you really feel or to give that honest opinion on, what I'm saying, the bullshit that's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I've been doing it. I've been doing it. I mean, we had a little bit of beef with one little person, but other than that, man, like shit, yeah, man, I've been trying to do it, man. You feel me? Like, hey, we can't go nowhere but up. You feel me?
Right on, right on. Been down
You
too
can't go
long.
Yeah, can't go nowhere up, man. So we try to stay away from the. You know what I'm saying? No, and don't get me wrong. I love the foolery. What's going on? 3-1. We ain't seen you in a while.
What's that?
Boy, you sound like what the fuck happened? Boy, what did boy, what happened? Look, that what you just sounded like.
Hey, it, it,
It
uh,
just,
my shit messing up or what?
yeah. It's giving me the stuttering shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, blood man, that's what we
Damn,
trying
I
to
just
do.
can't feel congratulate you, but I'm feeling drop down though. I just want to congratulate you, nigga, on your numbers. Keep going up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I seen the comment that you put up that other day, man. I seen the comment. I'm like, yeah, my boy, we trying to, you know what I'm saying, do something, you know what I'm saying, switch it up, you know what I'm saying, see what we can do, see how that work out for us. You feel me? Hey, we still have fun though, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to always, you ain't got to leave all the time. You know what I'm talking about?
Nah, I've been with fam. I've been with the fam. I've been with the family. I've been with the fam.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Doing the family thing, man. Well, big ups to the fam, man. Salute to the fam. Hope everybody in good health and you know what I'm saying, mentally and physically, and everybody doing well.
Right on.
Hey, this motherfucker with the cosign in the background with the right on. That was other than that, what you
Yeah.
got going on? What you got going on, man? Me and Mark just up here, man. We finna run this content up and see what we can pull off. You feel me? Y'all
I'm
celebrating
finna
a
get in the
birthday or
chat,
something?
man. Be a fan, man. Nah,
Hey,
on,
ain't
bro.
nothing wrong with
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing wrong with being a fan, man. Be careful in that chat, man. Past week, that chat been dangerous, man. Uh,
I have a chat.
Yeah, I know that chat been dangerous. Motherfuckers been getting into it in the chat. I didn't even know all this come with it. Like Monk, like bro, the chat be going up, bro. Like
Yeah.
what? Fuck, bro. I'm like, And what's crazy to me is that it's not just this case, right? I just think any type of content, well, any different views or ideologies, like you know what I'm saying, when you playing something, right, and then you giving your own commentary, it's not even your commentary. You know what I'm saying? Half the people gonna go with it, the other half might kind of agree or whatever the case may be. But when they get to going at it in the chat, I'll be like, wow, bro. And it's hard, yeah, well, you know, not to focus on the chat because you know I like to read the chat and you know get into saying a lot of the things that the people saying, especially when they're asking questions or whatever, or like when y'all come in. So I most definitely try to pay attention to y'all when y'all in the chat, my regulars. But when this chat be full with 100 people and man, bro, the comments that be coming through this oh my goodness.
Yeah, be some motherfucker got stupid shit to say sometimes.
Sometime, blood, that shit be down there every fucking. And it'd be like, man, and then you know when we do, and see, and my thing is, so when we do play these, or when we do go over these type of cases and things like that, the people in the chat that's commenting, whether they for it or against it, I don't think they realize that this is the reason why. Not me playing the content or me giving my opinion, but the things that you say inside of the chat, the way you think, the mindset that you still have. This is the reason why we are not going to develop as a people and move forward together. You feel me? A lot of people, you know, they want to get rid of the racism. You know, they want the bigotry and the prejudice and, you know, this, that, and the word. Then you get the people that say, you know, oh man, we need to come together as a people because we're going to, and I believe that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't believe that. But when you get a group of people, man, who just ain't trying to hear that shit and just don't believe and just want to be, and then, but you can separate the trolls from the ones who really, because you know the ones that's trolling is trolling, but you get the motherfuckers in the chat that actually believe that this is how life should be and this is what it is and it should stay this way and what you're talking about and man, it'd be crazy, bro. Be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's the game.
Yeah, Cito, what's going on, Cito? What's happening with you? What's happening with you? What's happening with you? Hey man, hit that like button, chat as y'all come in, man. We finna get to this topic. I got my hey Cito, you hear my bloodder, man. He said, what up, man? He said he need to get at you. Hey, bloodder, at any time during the video, if you need me to stop it or whatever the case may be, or whatever, or when I stop it and I comment or whatever the case may be, you can go right in. You feel me? I'm finna play our girl Nancy.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get to it, y'all.
A Nolan Wells bombshell report tonight. Does it reveal new witnesses? And because of the new timeline report, is there a timeline shift in what happened the afternoon and evening? Nolan Wells seemingly disappears. His body found washed up at Horn Island. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. What is in that autopsy?
Now I really want to see the other autopsy to see, is there trauma to the body? Is there something that happened?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
I have no doubt that what we're listening to and what she did is credible.
Not only has a timeline been analyzed by the Cajun Navy, the U.S. Cajun Navy, based on all sorts of statistical data, new photos are emerging. Take a look at this photo before we go to the Cajun Navy. Look at this. Check out what you're seeing. Look at all the boats surrounding where Nolan was. Leave up the photo out to Caitlin Becker, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of New York Postcast and their new podcast. Caitlin, what are we seeing?
Well, what we're seeing here comes from this new report from the United Cajun Navy, and you're seeing several boats strung together. This is one of the first images that we've seen of this certain configuration of boat there. They're all identified, one of which was the boat that Nolan came out there on. There's several others kind of anchored with it and tied up, which begs the question of where was Nolan when this photo was taken, because it's unclear if he's actually in it. What time was this photo actually taken? So what you're seeing here is, as you said, a potential pool of witnesses.
Hey, Caitlin, look at this. There's boat number 1. There's boat X. There's boat number 2. there's boat number 3, and there's a boat from which the photo is taken. Now, look in the water. There much has been made. Nolan Wells was drinking. Okay, well, apparently
So now I got a question. So is this which? So is that supposed to be Nolan right there? Because I think that's the only person that I can kind of see with a little fro with maybe something in his hand right there.
Man,
So you say what now?
I can't really tell. I can't because you know it's
Yeah,
small. Let me go to my
yeah,
tablet.
and then it's kind of blurry too.
Oh,
So
yeah, but it look like he got his back turned though.
you say what now?
It look like he got his back turned.
Yeah, but I'm just assuming that could possibly be him because that's the only because if this is Warren because if hold on, let me go over here because if this is Warren's boat right here, you know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all can't see that because I got it on this. Let me see. Let me do this. Okay, so if this is Warren's boat right up in here in this area, well, where this at? Hell, y'all can't see that. No, y'all can't see my mouse on that. Let me see. Let me see. Well, where it says Warren, like yeah, so up in there, if that's Warren, you know what I'm saying, that the other area would have to be him because I figure he wouldn't be too far from the boat. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But even though,
But
so and again, now I'm gonna tell y'all because I have been places where it's been a lot of people there. It's easy for someone to go missing. It's easy for someone to get lost. It's easy for somebody to get separated from a group. I will say that. Now, if they in the water drinking, but again, I'm not negating the fact that he could have possibly been drinking alcohol and been inebriated. But when they said they last seen him on land. Or did they say he was on land? Matter of fact, I don't even know if they said if he was in the water, if he was on land the last time they seen him anyway.
from what they were saying, he was on land because he supposed to been with the girl. Or
Okay.
at least, and what I'm saying, well, I'm gonna put it like this: he was at least either near the water because he was close enough to the boat. From what the white dude said, he was close enough to the boat to where they can say, "Come on, let's go, Nolan, we finna go." You know what I'm saying? So he might have been still in the water type shit. I don't know.
Now, how about this scenario? Let's say this, you guys. How about Nolan was and again, I don't want to push this narrative. This is a hypothetical situation. You know what I'm saying? This is just something I'm painting. I don't want this to be a narrative that's being pushed. But we trying to find different alternatives or different things that could be or that could have happened. Because again, like I said, we don't want to blame the men that he went on the trip with, and we don't want to blame Bart because we don't know exactly what happened because no one was there. But could it have been that he was so intoxicated, right? When they claimed they told him to come to the boat, they knew he was fucked up, right? And then again, remember when he said, if you get off at the bow, you in like neck, what do you say, neck deep, or either or. Like if you got off at the stern, the water was waist high, and if you got off the bow, you were neck high, right? So what if he was so fucked up and he tried to get into or come into the water to get into the boat, and they took off playing with him, type of shit, and he was just so fucked up trying to swim like not. And I don't know if anybody's been drunk before, but you be tired, you be fucked, you ain't like whoop the damn. What if he tried to get to the boat while he was fucked up and he drowned? I'm just saying. I know this probably ain't what happened, but I'm just saying, what if they tried to lure him to the boat while he was fucked up?
And that's something like Godfrey said. I shout out to Don Lemon. I was watching his show earlier, and he had Godfrey on there. You know, white boys like to play games, like games. You know what I'm saying? But the games can be a little bit overboard. You feel what I'm saying? And that could be something. You know what I'm saying? They then hit the boat because somebody say he could have been hit by the propeller or some shit or something like that to get the red mark on his neck. But I think it would have really fucked his neck up though.
Yeah, yeah.
if he got
Yeah,
hit by
yeah,
the propeller, though.
yeah,
It
most
was
definitely.
super.
If that propeller was going, yeah, I'm with you on that one, blood. If that propeller was
He
going, he
could have got. He could have still got hit by a part of the boat and got knocked out. Because
mm-hmm.
my whole thing is, and that's why now motherfuckers now don't want to talk after we done heard the Cito thing. Now it's time to talk. What was all the commotion about? You feel me? Like, did y'all accidentally hit him with the boat? And like something. It was something because everybody want to know what the damage board is about.
Mm-hmm. And again, they say this is not uncommon for these type of cases to go before a grand jury. But if the police is investigating, or the parents got an investigating team or a legal team, that's uncommon, bro. Like, any facts or any findings that's being had should be submitted to all parties. You feel me? Like, I shouldn't get half a body if I'm presenting my own. What law is it against that says that I can't get my own autopsy, or if my son or my child is unalive, that I can't receive the body first? Now, I know they couldn't receive the body first because they wasn't there on the site, but what if I mean, there ain't no paperwork where we can set up, if my child is dead, don't touch it, alert me, and I'll try to get there as soon as I can with my own authorities and some shit. I don't know if you can set something like that up, but in these type of cases, man, we really got to be careful about, what I'm saying? And I'm not saying because your kids go out with some white people. That shit, it could be black folks, it could be Asian, it could be any fucking body, it could be even with you. You know what I'm saying? As the mother and father. You know what I'm saying? When these kids go out, man, we really need protection plans, bro. We really need insurance. We really need to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Be able to perform our own autopsies, be able to have our own qualified medical people to come out and see what's happening and what's going on with, you know what I'm saying, with these unalive bodies that, you know what I'm saying, belong to us. Instead of the state, you feel me? especially
Right.
in places, especially in places like Mississippi. And I don't want to put this bad moniker on Mississippi, y'all. I don't want to do that. It's not what we doing. But we got to understand the history. Just like, so that same show you was watching, I watched this morning too. And Godfrey mentioned the fact that Mississippi is still burning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of them states, bro,
Yeah.
where
We
you
got
feel.
to see this whole thing with this, bro. This now, if I feel like if it's any racism, it's coming from the police, not the boys. I think it's coming from the police as far as because they ran down some cases because I forgot about the boy that got hung at Delta University. He
Yep.
got hung, but they say he died in the room, but really he got hung.
Then they
Like,
tried to say he hung himself. They tried to say he fucking hung himself, bro.
yeah, like I mean, when you unalive yourself like that, most of the time it's going to be a letter or something, or you know what I'm saying. It was no way that on to this day out of nowhere I just want to do myself because from what they saying he was a prospering dude, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, and like he was going through nothing, you know what I'm saying. I know shit can happen, but I don't think because most of the time when people unalive themselves, it's through trauma over time. You know what I'm saying? I just can't see nobody waking up. I don't know. I haven't known no. Well, yeah, I do because I got two partners that unalive themselves out of nowhere. But we don't know. This the thing I can't say. We don't know the backstory that led to that. You feel what I'm saying? It could be some long-term things that was going on. You feel what I'm saying? Just to hide this nigga woke up one day and unalive themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. But to bring it back, it was a lot of I was watching Big Kish, man, and they had a thing because that lady, whoever the state person over there, and then it's another thing too. I just found out, bro. The state of Mississippi really don't have it well to like. They don't have to release your autopsy and stuff like that public. They don't have to. It's not no law where it have to be public record.
I wonder why. I wonder why. He's the
Right.
greatest DJ. You feel? But and shit like that. And also, you know what I'm saying, watching Don Lemon and listening to your boy Godfrey. I looked this up as well. They're the only state I think they're the only state or one of the few states that hasn't signed the anti-lynching law within the state. Now federally, yeah, but within that state. So you mean to tell me, man, look, crazy, man. It's crazy, man. They haven't outlawed lynching.
My whole thing is this the thing. Mississippi not doing nothing to show that they're not racist. You see what I'm saying? You're not doing nothing to show, hey, we done changed over the years. You know that.
Yeah.
Why is it? Is you getting feedback?
No, you good. Now I was just speaking to the people in the chat. What's going on, Ray? What's going on, Ray? Ah, man, look at this. So
feedback.
Analysis about, but Democrats like Newsom still says voters ID is racist because you're too dumb to get an ID. Wow. He said lynching is already illegal. Why make it double illegal? It's a performative. That's not true. So that's not true because state to state, you can do whatever you want to do in your state. Yeah, federally, it might be a law, but when it comes to the state, man, fit to fit. Yeah, it's a lot. So Andrew, I'm not gonna do a law thing right now, but we can get into the law a little bit later. But the state trumps the feds, man, in certain situations. Like literally, bro. You have to know this. If you don't, I mean, don't mention nothing about no law. He said they don't have to prove they're not racist. What the fuck? He said murder is illegal. No, you saying I'll be a dummy. You said murder is illegal? You know what? We're not going to respond to your comments anymore, man. But hey, keep commenting, brother. Keep the chat rolling. Yeah, murder is illegal, but guess what? This type of lynching, that shit was done legally for years, brother. And of course,
I mean, but just say this. Go ahead. I was just going to say to go back to what he was saying.
Huh? No, I said
Oh, if we a state known for something and we want to show the world that we have evolved from that, you know what I'm saying? Like we would be coming together to help these people and be on their side. Like to me, now as many death threats as this man Mamanin got, how they arrested a dude way in California for the ones that for the white kids, mom, that got the death threats, the judge lady. You see what I'm saying? Like you doing more work to protect them than to figure out what's going on. That's what I'm looking at. So I'm just saying, make it even. That's all I'm saying.
And who? So, and where did the death threat come from? Did it come from within the state of Mississippi?
That man was where in California.
My point exactly. That's what I'm saying. What's the likelihood of this man coming to California to Mississippi to do anything to you, man? Like, let's be freaking for real. Like, come on, man. We got to stop the madness, bro. We got to stop the madness. And I know ain't nobody threatening you within Mississippi because there's only 1,450 black folks that's even in fucking Ocean Springs. 38.7% of black folks stay in Mississippi.
He was Mexican.
Oh, he was Mexican?
Man, he was a Mexican.
Yeah, but again, see, that goes to show you when people try to throw the race in there. But again, you know, they gonna say Mexicans you know how that shit go, man. You know what they gonna say. Mexicans is just like us. You feel me? You know how they try to group us all in the same category. He says when everything is racist, nothing is racist. The word doesn't even mean anything anymore. That's true. It's all about how you apply it, though. But if you apply it correctly, it can have hell of effects. Richard Weber, he said, I don't see what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't know what you're saying. He said there are new death threats along, also against Warren's dad. Man, ain't nobody threatening these people, man. Let's get back to the video. Ain't nobody threatening
Everybody
these.
was. They all have containers, open containers in the water. Okay, as far as I know, that's not a felony. Boat number 1 full of people, boat X full of people, boat number 2 full of people, boat number 3 full of people. People on the boat from which the photo was taken. Some of these boats tied together. You know what that means in my world, Caitlin Becker, joining us in the New York Post? Let me see, Caitlin, please. That means witnesses. See, when I look at that, I see witnesses. Other people say, hey, there's people having a good time. I see witnesses. You see all those people?
And a lot of
Caitlin,
them.
who were they? Have they been spoken to? Have they been polygraphed? What can they tell me?
That is the question, right? We don't know from an investigative standpoint who has been spoken to, exactly who is in this photo, and what they have or haven't told law enforcement, because there hasn't been really any transparency there. But from what our reporting has showed, there have been dozens of people who have spoken to law enforcement as witnesses. But Nancy, we don't know if it's any of these people that you're seeing in this little cove area right here. And the timing, I think, is really important, because these images are taken right around, I think the timeline's about 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish, when the boat that Nolan came out there on leaves and starts taking on water. That's one of the pegs for the timeline. When these photos were actually taken, that is a peg for a timeline. But what we don't know is where Nolan is. There he is. You can see that image right there. What we don't know is where Nolan was when that first image that we saw with all of those boats kind of tied together, when that was taken.
You are seeing a photo obtained by our friends at the United Cajun Navy. And speaking of the United Cajun Navy, joining me now is Brian Trasher, Vice President, United Cajun Navy. And for all of you attacking the United Cajun Navy, let's see that aerial footage they provided us. This is from the Cajun Navy describing their search, their aerial search. They spotted Nolan Wells's body. They have been integral in the search for Nolan Wells and helping elucidate the facts as we know them. Brace yourself, Trasher. Everybody else is getting death threats. You might as well join the party. To you, Brian Trasher, the United Cajun Navy has come up with a timeline. Now, did I hear Caitlin Becker from the New York Post correctly that that photo where the boats are named Boat 1, Boat 2, Boat 3, and Boat X, is that from you guys, the United Cajun Navy?
First of all, I want to thank you for calling this report what it is, and it's a timeline. And some people have called it an investigative report, and that's not accurate because, as you know, we're not investigators. And what we did, Nancy, was we asked our followers, say, hey, if anybody was there that day, you have pictures, videos, whatever, send it to us just so we can go through it, see if there's anything relevant. We took all that information and compiled it into just one digestible report of things we thought were relevant and could be helpful. Maybe they're not. Maybe law enforcement's already seen all this and it's nothing new to them. But we just wanted to be transparent about what we received. So going back to your question, the pictures that we received, we did not, as an organization, take any of these photographs. These are all images that we received from people who were trying to help us out and trying to help Nolan's family out.
So you asked the public for help, and you got it. You got a treasure trove of photos, and I find this one significant. Guys, we've got an all-star panel, and I would like the all-star panel to look at their screens, because I've talked about this before, Brian Trasher, and I'm frankly fed up with attacks on the United Cajun Navy. They're doing something, which is more than all of the haters can say. They're doing something. They have amassed evidence. They have created the time.
I ain't care for that hater. I ain't care for that hater remark, but that was a little. But I'm gonna let Nancy live though. I'm gonna let her live. And so, and I got a question. So, what about satellite imaging? Or these photos that they had, like, man, with all the technology and shit that don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to say pull off no sci-fi shit, right? But with all the technology and all the shit that we got, you mean to tell me, man, y'all, man, for me, it seemed like whatever they want to find out or whatever they want to get to the bottom of, that's what they get to the bottom of.
Right.
If it ain't dealing with their bottom line or if it's some shit, you know what I'm saying, that can get swept under the rug. Because again, I don't think this case was supposed to get this much attention. I don't think this was supposed to be a national, you know what I'm saying, venue for people to be just, you know what I'm saying, in an uproar about. You know, I really don't think it was supposed to get this far, but it has, and this is where we at with it now. Hey, Miss Dolly, what's going on?
To the best of their ability. They have shared it with us. Unlike the autopsy that is complete, is being kept secret from us. That said, they're helping. Why trash them? That's, you know, I'm not a shrink. I can't answer that. Let's look at this photo and determine what, if anything, we can discern. Brian, you and I have talked many, many times, and I told you about a serial killer I finally convicted on one case. The jury convicted him. And I proved a lot because of one earring I found in a particular location. The victim was wearing an earring, and the other earring had been sliced out of her ear, and I found it somewhere else, and I learned a lot because of where it was. Now, don't even bother to tell me that this photo that you have produced is not probative of something. The cluster of boats. Number one, I see a lot of witnesses. Trasher, what do we know what time this photo was taken?
We don't know definitively times on all these because even though they're time stamped, it could be a time when it was screenshotted, stamped, not necessarily, you know, the original photograph. So we were very careful to denote that in our report that we can't verify timelines, although based on, you know, shadows and positions and things like that, we can determine that some of these, as noted, are taken in the late afternoon. One of the things I thought was interesting about some of these photos we got, Nancy, was that a lot of the photos we had seen before were people like in waist deep water. Well, some of the photos we provided show people up, you know, water up to their chest, almost to their neck. And that's not really wading. That's treading water, in my opinion. And that I thought might have been significant to know that that many people were, you know, perhaps enjoying some libations, but also in water that might have been a little too deep just to be playing in.
Good point. You know, you also said something else really smart. And I certainly do not want to rely on this, but sometimes you have to, you take the evidence as you find it and you make the most of what you've got. You said you could tell this was late in the afternoon because of the shadowing. I wonder if the tide could tell me anything because how high up the water is. But these people holding drinks, they're not treading water, Trasher. They're standing there. These people are not treading water, and the water is up to their armpits. Is that the photo you're talking about as to where you think some of them are treading water, or are there other photos?
The photo at the top, yeah, you're right. It's about up to their armpit. I think there was one later in the report that that showed some of the kids. This was a screenshot of a social media post, and there's 3 boats visible, one fourth boat further in the distance, but a lot of kids on one boat. I say kids, young people on one boat, some on the boat, some in the water. And some of them, it looks, you know, maybe up to their armpit, but some of them, depending on their own height, it looks like it's, you know, I could see a girl holding something in her hand and the water looks to be pretty close to her neck. So that's pretty far out. Now, we've said several times that Horn Island has a very aggressive slope. So you can be in shallow water and deep water within just a few steps. And once you get into that deep water, you're not as able to keep your feet on the ground if a current comes and pulls you, or God forbid, a riptide comes and drags you. So that's why we thought it was significant to know that they were socializing in fairly deep water.
Can we go back to the main photo where the boats are numbered 1, 2, 3, X? Isn't it true, Brian Trasher, that these boats are easily identifiable by I call it a tail number, like you would plane? Every boat has to be registered or supposed to be registered. It has a number on it. It often has a name like Triton. One was named Mac Daddy. There were other names. They're registered, and you know who the owner is, and the owner can tell us who was on the boat that day. Is that correct?
Theoretically, yeah. If you can make out the registration number or the name of the boat, if the vessel's name is registered, you know, along with the registration number. Usually that's sometimes only on a Coast Guard document, but sometimes on a state registration, you do put the vehicle, the boat name if it's asked for, or if you have one. So that is all possible. You know, I'm told, and we're asked to compare notes with the sheriff's office, which we're doing. But I was told that there's been a lot of people that have been contacted and interviewed. And there's a lot of people who were there that day that voluntarily came forward to tell what they know. And because they might have seen their boats and pictures, said, "Oh, we might want to go ahead and call them, let them know we don't know where we were, who was with us, and what we know." So I commend those people for coming forward because it's not always easy.
To Marie Pereira joining us in addition to the Vice President of the United Cajun Navy, who has been there from the get-go trying to help solve the case. Marie Pereira, registered nurse, which is important. But she is a criminal defense attorney and domestic violence expert. She is a violence expert certified advocate. Marie, you saw that. All those people in
Yeah, she must be Jamaican. This bitch is a criminal defense attorney, a fucking registered nurse, and a domestic violence counselor. God damn, what the fuck?
in my book are witnesses. One of them is saying at 7:30, Nolan was nowhere to be seen. Now, I want to see the video or the photo again, because you want to tell me that this guy, Nolan Wells, hit his head and drowned and none of those people saw what happened? I find that really hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, and that's why it's extremely important that the law enforcement are not too proud to get help from the public. Like you said, if people are sending in
And lo and behold, I was right. That she's something. There go that damn accent.
videos, they should be using those videos to conduct further investigation. I'm praying that this is a situation like Brian Kohlberger, where the police department, they were being ragged and being called ranky-dink police, while all the time they were investigating and putting together a case against him. I hope that yeah, because all the time they were saying, oh, what are they doing? It was I think the DA had a long, big beard, which wasn't very conducive to believing he knew what he was doing, but they knew what they were doing.
I know, it looked like Leonard Skinner sitting there. Hey, that videos from Officer Tatum's podcast, all this means witnesses to me. And do you remember in the Diddy case, there was actually a toll-free number for victims to call? There were that many victims, not that it helped at the trial, but that said, I think there needs to be a toll-free number. If you think you have evidence, dial the number. If you have photos like the United Cajun Navy is doing, they asked for the public's help. They got the public's help, and there's more to get. That's what is needed now. Every picture, every video. How often have cases been cracked when someone spots something in a picture they hadn't noticed before, or their memory is jogged by a photo or information they've seen online? I've pointed to this a million times. Brian Trasher, the Gabby Petito case. Her body would never have been found if it weren't for amateur sleuths. I believe their name is Red, Blue, and Methane. They were a couple out in the middle of nowhere in dispersed camping where there are no porta potties, no lights, no hookups, no anything. It's just you and the wild animals. I've camped and dispersed before. They're out there and they see a vehicle and they go, that's Gabby's Ford Transit. And they call authorities who would never have gone to this dispersed camping area, and they find her remains. That's how the case was cracked. Who knows what photo, what tip United Cajun Navy or law enforcement or the Nolan Wells team might get that might crack this case wide open. So that said, Brian, how did you create this timeline? I find it very interesting.
So first of all, going back to your comment about internet sleuths, a lot of people consider themselves internet sleuths, but some people really are good. And there's one young lady who's helped us out on many cases, who was very helpful in this case. I haven't asked her permission yet if I could say her name, but if she gives me permission and I come back on, I'll be happy to give her credit for all the help she gave us. But basically what we did was we took these pictures, we juxtaposed them to, like Google Earth and satellite pictures of the island to try to determine exactly where they were. We looked at the initial coordinates called out from the, I think from the Coast Guard or from Marine Patrol when the missing persons report first went out, and basically just try to run these pictures against each other to say, okay, this boat's here now, it's not here later. And again, just create an index. We had to use some software to help us create the index of the pictures and make sure we put it into the best timeline we could. We included social media posts that, may or may not have been definitive, but this was happening in real time. So we thought it was important to put those up there to create context. And so again, just trying to, our goal was to take what we've received, put it into a digestible format that just about anybody could understand, hopefully. And if it's helpful, great. If it's not, then I don't think, no harm, no foul,
To Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, based on this timeline, and it may be refined as the days go forward, how does it shift the timeline? Because there is a group of people fighting at 5 p.m. Who are they? The friends say they leave at 4:31. That should be able to be verified through GPS. 5 p.m. Nolan, according to them, is still at Horn Island. Is he? Because by 7:30, witness states Nolan nowhere in sight. So where was he? He wasn't floating in the water. He wasn't on the shore. If he had, hold on, Dave, to Joe Scott Morgan, if he had drowned, would.
Now they do have an alleged video that's out. This video is blurry. You really can't tell nothing. So somebody sent me this video. Big shout out to Miss Jen. Send me a video about this altercation, which allegedly that they were saying was Nolan being, dumped or slammed on his head or the back of his head or something like that to that effect, or getting tossed or whatever. Now, mind you, I couldn't really make nothing out in the video. Really couldn't see nothing. That would give me the definitive reason to state that, yeah, but no. So, and again, me personally, I don't believe this video, but again, so I don't know if that altercation had anything to do with Nolan, but there is supposed to be a video that's out.
Wouldn't he be floating in the water?
Perhaps. I've seen bodies in the immediate that will go directly to the bottom. And there are those that do in fact float. So a lot of it is going to depend upon the temperature of the water. Many times, a lot of it's going to depend upon, is there anything else out there that could, let's see, how can I put this, that could in fact impede the body's ability to float to the top, like beneath a boat. And as you can see, there are a lot of boats out there. So if in fact that had occurred, you can actually have bodies that will be caught beneath other vessels. I've worked cases like that where they were looking around for someone and they couldn't find them because the whole area was surrounded by vessels. And so there are a lot of elements that go into this, Nancy.
Hi, guys. Nancy Grace here. If you are a homeowner, you probably thought, should I call American Financing to refinance and pay $100? That's not it. And if you start today, you get 88 NMLS 18.7% for well-qualified firms. Go to $99. It shows 3 boats and more anchored side by side. Boat number 3, the Palm Beach, and also the Triton, we believe, which is the boat that took Nolan to Horn Island. It's also the boat that reportedly leaves, according to the occupants, without Nolan. They claim they begged him to board their vessel, but he said no. Let me understand this. According Caitlin Becker, according to the mysterious Katie, not that mysterious because her sister has posted and we've obtained her photo, we think. She says he left with his friends. They say he stayed with her. Okay, that's a problem.
Yep. That's a problem. And there are also quite a few friends that he had come out with. So the Triton that he was on, there were 3 or 4 people on that particular boat. That's the one that he had come out on, and the one that his friends say, we asked him to get back on the boat. He didn't get back on the boat. His phone was on the boat. We left. We took on water. We needed help. He said he was going to stay to talk to this mysterious, as you said, Katie. Mysterious Katie says that she talked to him for a minute. It was no big deal. Then his friends called him back, and that's where he went. And she just assumed he went back on the boat with his friends. The issue I think that we're running into here is that the friends weren't just the 4 that you're seeing right here. There were multiple boats, 3 boats full of friends that came out. So could he have been going back to a second boat full of his friends while the Triton was gone, or were they referring to the Triton itself? That, I think, is where the biggest bit of confusion lays.
Dave Mack, question. Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, didn't at the get-go the friends on the boat state they didn't know the name of the girl? They didn't know who she was. They had never seen her before. I'm paraphrasing. We can look up their exact words. Then does it turn out they're actually texting with her about where is Nolan?
apparently, Nancy, you have to realize a couple things here, and it's getting lost in the muck and the mire, is the friends. We use the term Nolan's friends that he went to Horn Island with. Well, you know what, Nancy? Many people have said that he didn't know Katie, they didn't know Katie before that day, and that Nolan just started talking to her. But now it appears that they, being the group of friends, were communicating with Katie and knew who she was, and that during the—
Then why would they say they didn't know who she was? Call her some girl, a girl.
Well, here's the problem, Nancy, is I keep hearing friends, but you realize that Nolan, he went out to Horn Island on a boat. You know, Warren Hudson has talked a lot. He's been with Officer Tatum talking about, you know, his best friend Nolan and the whole thing. But first of all, Warren did not go to Horn Island on the same boat as Nolan Wells. And we have heard over and over from parents and friends, he would, you know, run with the one that got you there, right? So Nolan went with one boat and they expected he would return on the same boat. Yet we're now finding out that was never the plan. He was never going back on the same boat that took him to the island. So when we talk about this group of friends, Nancy, they were scattered on 3 or 4 different boats. And we keep focusing on the one with the bilge pump problem. But now, what boat was Nolan Wells supposed to be going back to the mainland? We know he didn't ride with Warren Hudson to the island. So where was he supposed to be on?
Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President, United Cajun Navy, on the case from the very beginning. Brian, do we know the time of the CETO call made from the Triton?
We do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's been reported, and obviously the CETO would have the exact time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was after 3 o'clock, before 4:30, and we know that the tow was canceled because somebody got in touch with Bart Edmondson, who ended up towing the boat himself, being a good Samaritan. And of course now that poor guy's getting, raked over the coals just for being a good, what we try to tell everybody, to be neighbor helping neighbor.
Now, didn't the grandpa call and cancel the tow?
Yeah, I think that I saw that report as well. And it may have been that somebody contacted him and said, hey, we got somebody to tow us. So maybe he called because he had a better signal and said, hey, they don't need it anymore. Again, these are all kind of, the things that were already out there. I don't think we included too much about that in our report because it had been reported on so much. But I also just wanted to point out too, on the photo on page 14, this is one that we included, even though we could, there's a young man that matches Nolan's description. And I'm saying it that way because we can't verify that it's him in this picture. And he's partially in it because there's a girl blocking him, but it's a young, slender African-American male wearing blue swim trunks from what you could see in the picture. According to the person that submitted that photo, it was taken at approximately 4:50 p.m. Central Time on July 4th, which would have been after the GPS data says that the Triton had left Horn Island. Now, that's only relevant if this young man in the picture actually turns out to be Nolan. We never could verify it, but we thought it was important enough to at least include as a possibility.
Hi guys, Nancy Grace here. Please join us on Crime Stories and stream it first on Fox 1. When breaking crime news develops, we investigate it and bring it to you. Bombshell updates, answers to unanswered questions from cases making the headlines and cases you may never have heard of until Crime Stories. We go inside investigations with exclusive interviews, crime victims, families seeking justice.
So so Ms. Justkina, apparently so she says I seen them saying Kate was a good friend. Yeah, so apparently they say Katie was at the Wells functions of the Wells and things like that, and they knew each other. So I have heard that as well. I don't know how true that is, or whatever the case may be, but I have most definitely heard that as well. And I can't quite say where I seen the way I heard it from or whatever. Or did I might have heard the mom say it, and something. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But I have seen and heard where they say that they were pretty close. She was at a few family functions. Big bro, I think that, man, looks delicious, my boy. Say, hey girl, this is the Nolan case. Yes, this is the Nolan Wells case, Miss Dolly. She said, I'm sorry. Sarah says they may not have wanted to drop her name to the public as they were being doxxed. I don't know if they wanted to bring her name out to the public, but again, they did. So, but she said what she said. She spoke. She said how she felt. Or well, I ain't gonna say said how she felt. She said what she said, and that was that. I mean, I don't think it's an issue with her or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That could be coming out, or that they could, accuse her of anything. You know what I'm saying? The best you can say is that she was on the island and they was having fun. You know, you know what I'm saying?
But
What's going on?
it's amazing to me how he just disappeared. That's just the amazing part. Like nobody seen a strange black dude walk off. You know what I'm saying, or anything, or you know what I'm saying. Like that's just so crazy to me. That's why it's so suspicious, though. You know what I'm saying. Amongst all the other shit, you know what I'm saying. Because I'm gonna tell you the why really Officer Tatum, he really fucked up by doing that interview because now them two dudes did too much damn talking. Y'all went from not knowing the girl to texting the girl. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all call her the Katie girl, and see too. I want to know, like, was they trying to hurry up and leave because Bart was coming? Like, I want to know what's up with that part, and Katie, because everybody has some slick shit to say about Katie, man. I want to know what's up. Is she a bust down? Like, what the fuck y'all was saying? You see what I'm saying? Why, so it's shit wild, bro. It make it seem like it's something. It's a big gap missing right there.
I mean, like, but give me a little bit more why you think it's a gap with the Katie girl.
Because I mean, to me, if I see you with a girl and we know who, just say, bro, like, you know who girl that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know what would see. They all said when he said he had something slick to say to Nolan.
And the other boy said he
looked at Nolan, shaked his head, and say like, "You wild or you crazy or some shit like that." Like, what is he crazy for? Cause he with a girl? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, is something missing in between that? You know what I'm saying? It's something missing in between that. Like, why is he crazy for being hugged up with that girl? You see what I'm saying?
See, but then I don't think there's any evidence about the young man who allegedly helped tow the boat. Or I'm not going to say allegedly because he did, help tow the boat. So the young man who towed the boat, who people are currently, accusing of trying to say that he could be a possible suspect in the case. I don't think that there's any concrete evidence.
Damn beats a possible suspect. Cause anybody could have done it. Anybody could have done it. Somebody could have seen him. Oh, we got us one. It could not be like I wouldn't be surprised if they found out that these boys really didn't have nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? Like they, you know what I'm saying? And then we can say, like, my thing is, how the fuck y'all getting all this information? Ain't nobody else got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got a timeline now. How the fuck y'all get a timeline?
Because
and the
police GPS on the boat.
How is y'all getting information from that man boat?
I mean, subpoenas and then and then we don't know if any of this evidence again, because a lot of these things could be circumstantial, a lot of these things are alleged, a lot of these things could be false, and some of these things could be real, right? So we don't know if it's being leaked. And I'm not pushing the narrative at all. Or trying to say that Al Sharpton and Ben Crump is trying to spin their own narrative. But of course, in any legal defense or certain situations like this, of course, you want to make a jury or you want to make the people, believe what you want to believe. So there's always going to be a narrative that's being, garnered, right? but maybe it was a leak. Maybe they got the information and they leaked it out, or maybe they got a piece of some shit and they leaked it out, and with the hopes that, you know what I'm saying, this could potentially maybe speed up something or store up enough or something to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
again, we don't know, but there has been nothing to come out to dispute this timeline of GPS, whether it was leaked or not. There's nothing that has been coming out to dispute the phone call. So now everybody want to harp on the phone call with okay, well, you can't really make out right. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you that. But what about the second part of that phone call with the grandfather talk to the
Yeah,
captain? And
now that's the part that's crazy.
Now it could be nothing, or it could be, you know, but see, and that's what I'm saying. So they didn't call that person first. They had to call the grandfather first, or some, like, who notified the grandfather for the grandfather to even talk to the captain about canceling a tow for a boat?
That's what I'm saying.
I ain't fucked up about the grandfather knowing the man or knowing the captain. I'm pretty sure everybody in the fucking town know everybody anyway.
But make it make sense though. It's like you own this. Say you talking to 911, and then you click over as the dispatcher finna send out a unit, and then the police officer say, "Well, I talked to the dad." How the fuck you talk to the dad and I'm on the phone right here on the other line with the son? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that don't make no sense right there. Like, how did y'all all of a sudden get this shit solved? But I've been on the phone with you for 8 minutes and y'all couldn't figure this shit out. I clicked over for 2 minutes and y'all done figured this shit out.
Yeah, DJ, what's going on, DJ Graves?
You see what I'm saying?
You think he was killed, Bearded?
Do I think Nolan Wells was killed? Honestly, I don't know. So I'm not gonna make a statement to directly state that he was killed or murdered or anything, right? Because I'm not the forensics team. I'm not you know, the police investigation team. I'm not part of any of those things. I don't have an inside person to, you know, feed me information to for me to even formulate, you know what I'm saying, an opinion of such. What I will say is that I think that there are a lot of inconsistencies with the case, right? And of course, those inconsistencies come from narratives that's being pushed from public opinion, Ben Crump's side, also from what I'm hearing, from you know, the investigation, and just the words that, you know, honestly, when I watched that interview with both those guys, I believe they being disingenuous. I didn't believe a word of that shit. I just honestly didn't. Could it have been a chance that he was killed? Yes. Could it have been a big chance that it was an accident? Most definitely. Do I think any of the boys could have possibly had anything to do with it? Now that's where I draw the line, because I want to say that I don't think somebody know. I just think somebody know. If it wasn't them directly, someone knows. If it was a case of him being unalive due to some type of physical altercation amongst people that were there on the island. I like the way I put that. What about you, Doris? Yeah, I like the way I put that, Monk. I kind of put that in the yeah. That's how we got it.
My whole thing is too, I don't think, and I'm gonna put it like this, it wasn't, I don't think, I got two sides. I feel like it could have been intentional and it could not have been intentional, because it's not enough marks on the body for there to be a fight. I don't give a damn. It's gonna be marks on your body. Somebody gonna throw punches. Huh?
Yeah, but I've been in altercations and I ain't had no. That's not true.
Man, when you die, bruises come up regardless.
No, they don't get.
I mean, it ain't too many fights I've seen where it wasn't no struggling going on.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying. You could have tripped. They on sand. They on soft land. You can get tripped. and fall in the sand and not get a bump and somebody can hold you
Yeah,
down.
yeah, but I'm thinking most likely this shit happened on this boat.
See, and then again, and that's another, you know, point of contingency. We don't know if it was on the land. We don't know if it was on a boat. We
Yeah,
don't know what.
yeah.
And if it was on the boat, that's how they trying to link the bar guy in. You feel what I'm saying? Because they saying it was on the boat and he was the one that told the boat and he was the one that had the relationship with the young lady, Katie. Allegedly. And again, there's no concrete evidence that states that Bart dated this young lady.
No, it ain't no concrete evidence.
And I think, didn't she say she don't know some of them or something to that effect? Or whatever
She
the case may be.
knew, she knew someone to text that person, but see, too, it was female. See, I'm gonna tell you too. Let me go back to the Cito thing, and I'm about the only nigga, and I know I'm black, and I'm not sitting. I swear to God, it sound like that boy say "no way" instead of "no" to me. I swear, it don't sound like he's saying no. Sound like he's
He
saying
didn't
no
say
way
no way,
to me.
but he's saying no way to.
Like, it's no way that the pump, you know what I'm saying, is backed up. Like, man, no way we seen it.
Or some now let me spin a narrative. Or it could have been some wild shit, and he was like, "No way." You feel me?
Yeah,
Like
it don't sound like you saying
like, no way. You feel me? You could take that any kind of way.
like, and I when I heard I'm like, it's not. I'm listening. It's not really because it sounds like it's a high end. It don't sound like it's Nolan. It sounds like no. It's got a high end on it. It's hard for me to explain what I'm saying, but it don't just sound like he's saying Nolan to me though. You know what I'm saying? And then that could have been like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, yeah, there was some commotion going on in the background, but I don't give a damn if you don't call the lifeguard. You still not gonna call Cito if it's a damn body on this boat. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you're not finna call nobody to this boat. You feel what I'm saying? You got a body on this motherfucker.
Just towing the boat. He just towing the boat. 9 times out of 10, if they pulling up, they gonna throw you some. All right, link it on, and we gonna tell you. All right, well, you already a membership, so you already paid off, and they probably gonna slide on up out of there. Because again, you got to think about it. These people know each other, bro. Like, again, you forgot the grandfather was on the phone with the captain, so why would he have a need to even get on the fucking boat? All he gonna do is throw you a line and tow that.
They needed to be I thought they were gonna pump the water out. I thought they were gonna pump the water out too. You know.
No. Yeah, well, he said he wanted to pump out and all that. You feel me? At that point in time, but you know what I'm saying. But again, Nolan, if his body was on the boat, they threw his ass overboard because they found him around the coastline. You know what I'm saying, around about where they was when they made the phone call.
But you think the body gonna float away that quick? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's. I don't know.
For 30 minutes. They sat there for 30 minutes before they pulled off, and then here it go again. Even if you sat there for 30 minutes before y'all pulled off, it was other boats around there. Even if they dumped or they threw the body in the water, no one seen the body.
That's the crazy part. But you know, and then another thing too, like going back to the wide dude, it was like, why are you so anxious to call the Coast Guard? You feel what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to call the Coast Guard.
No, he didn't call no Coast Guard. No.
When he was like missing and nobody heard from him, you want to call the Coast Guard. Why?
Yeah. Because that's instead of calling the police or something like that, I guess. Water. So the Coast Guard would be the best people to call because it happened on the water. So they're gonna be the first. I mean, I guess if we thinking like, kind of like that, but I mean, but
this thing bearded in my mind. This your homie, bro. Let's just think. And he say he leaving with somebody else. My first mind wouldn't think he still be somewhere near some water. I think he probably spent the night at somebody's house. He done went to the room or something. You know what I'm saying? Not after we done covered the land, then we go to sea. Did he ever leave it?
So you saying like, why call the Coast Guard? Because if y'all left him, even though they said he didn't say who he was coming back with, but we just gonna assume for the sake of this conversation that we having, like, right. So if we with our homie and he say walk the bam, so we just gonna automatically assume, which could have happened, that he was gonna come back with somebody. So if he coming back with somebody and we ain't heard from him, yeah, we gonna call the police. We ain't finna notify the Coast Guard because we thinking he back on land because he already, you know what I'm saying? Like we just know he ain't finna be the last and the only motherfucker out here on this island. We know he gonna find a rat. So like, man, he missing for a long man. All right, let's call the police type shit. Yeah, why call the Coast Guard? It's in the Coast Guard out there to the water. Why would you think he's still on the island?
But then too, here goes some more suspicious shit. That's why I say, I mean, if these kids ain't got nothing to do with it, it do make it seem like they got something to do with it. Okay, Billy, I got your phone and keys at my house. I call your mama and never tell her, well, have you heard from Nolan? No. Well, I got his keys and his phone right here. You see what I'm saying? Like that, like, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't heard from him either. He ain't called me to come get his keys or the phone or nothing. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like that supposed to be the whole reason why he called his mama.
Yeah, I mean, you could say them good kids, but you know, real homeboys, and come on, man, chat, y'all gotta agree with me, man. If I got my homie's phone and keys, I ain't finna call his mama and say shit like that, you feel me? Because I don't know what my homie might have got into type shit, you feel me? And maybe he ain't want his mama to know. So I'm gonna hold on to his phone and keys until he get in contact with me, because I know he probably out there. If I know my homie, you know, he probably might have got into some shit or maybe forgot type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you. But or again, like I said, good kids, and they're gonna call, and who knows? Who the fuck knows? And for a lot of people that's saying that's dumb to have their phone out there in the water, and of course they're gonna leave their phone on the boat. Man, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. This is a bunch of motherfuckers that's 21 and under. Well, between the eight, well, I ain't gonna say 21. We're gonna say, yeah, well, 21 and under, 18 is under. 18, let's say from the ages of 18 and up, right? You mean to tell me all them young ladies out there that nobody risks jumping out that motherfucking boat, off them boats or into that water with no phone? I guarantee you some people have phones on that island. And if you got close enough to the fucking beach or to the shore, you could have jumped out in enough water to where you could have held your fucking hands high and kept your phone dry. And
Right.
again, like, yeah, go ahead.
Motherfuckers take selfies in the pool, so I know they gonna take selfies out there. You know, I feel what you're saying. Like it's crazy. We got all these pictures on the way, but we got no pictures coming back or at this place. Like we don't have no pictures of them from the beach and the water having fun, or you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta understand, and let's look at it like this. We all went to school together. We don't see each other all the time. So we're gonna take some pictures that have memories. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We're gonna take pictures, you know what I'm saying? So we can talk about this 10, 15 years. Man, remember we was at home and I remember I got the pictures from that day, you know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely, bro. I go to beaches and lakes, bro. Hey, Miss Chichi, welcome back, beautiful. Man, I done been in beaches and lakes, man, where people got their phones out there swimming with their shit, man. Stop it. I done been in water parks where people still got their phones while they on the slides and the rides. So you mean to tell me it's 2026? Like these kids don't know about shit that they can put their phones in and protect their phones if they jumping out in this water to get on this island. So you now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody took their phone, and yeah, you know, potentially some motherfuckers they had that. So if you didn't have that, I'm gonna leave my phone, right? But you can't tell me, man, that a lot of them kids didn't jump off them boats with their phone.
Right. And I mean, anybody gonna cover anybody. I don't give a fuck what race you are. We did some wrong shit. We gonna cover each other's ass. You know what I'm saying? Cause hell, one thing, you know what I'm saying? And then we dealing with youngsters, so they, you know what I'm saying? You never know. If they tell the truth, they might get out. Hey man, if it was an accident, we know shit happened. Yeah, but when you so terrified, it's just like when you finna get ass whooping at home, man, you'll tell 1,000 lies and you could have told the truth and never got ass whooping. But you got ass whooping for lying so much.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at some of the chat, like somebody say white people are demonic. Hell, we are demonic too. Shit, we do some demonic shit amongst our own race, let alone outside. See, that's what kills me when it comes down to a white person and black people, and the black person die. We want to get, oh, it was racism. Like, but we got to look at the situation though. It wasn't racism when his mama let them kids, when she knew her child was leaving with them people. So it was cool, you know what I'm saying, with the mom and the daddy. So at the end of the day, see, that's why I say, yeah.
We don't know if it was cool with the daddy, because she would have I think she would have with another guy. So I don't think his father, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying it was cool with them at the time.
We ain't gonna say all that. So, and do we know that his mama, did she come out and say she absolutely knew that he was going to Horn Island that weekend? Did she know that? Because a lot of times, you know, kids will say they going to a party or they going somewhere and might not have told. And I'm not saying that she didn't know, but did she actually know?
But I feel like 9 times out of 10, she know usually who he be around. You know what I'm saying? Because some of them done been to her house.
That's not always true. I've been around plenty of people that my parents don't know nothing about or didn't know anything about. Facts.
But she went to school.
I didn't did many things that my mom and dad
probably community, bro. Like they know each other, bro. Ain't like they don't know each other. We not, because some of them kids say they ain't been to his house before. Well, Wyatt I know say he been. We don't know about the Trayston dude. We gonna leave him out of, because it ain't nowhere in hell you left and seen him at the same time.
Trayston, the one that said he didn't been in the house. The other boy said he ain't never been there. So let's get that correct.
Trayston, they say they don't even know him.
Yeah, but who said they didn't know Trayston?
The mama.
Yeah, but he claims that he's been to the house. Though. That's what I'm saying. The white boy say he ain't never been to the house.
Okay, but why gotta know the mama if he can call her on her phone?
No. It was
gotta know the mama if he calling her 3 times on her phone.
Man, you get the number. Yeah, I mean, you can get the number from people, man. It's plenty ways you can get a number. Plenty ways you can get a number.
Man, they know each other. I know that perfect. It was cool. I know that much. It was cool to a certain extent. Because not one time out her mouth, she didn't say, I didn't know he was going with them. I didn't know he was going to be around them. I ain't heard her say that one time publicly. And any parent to say that, well, I didn't know. I warned him about being around them. I never heard her say that one time.
We can't necessarily say that neither, because due to emotional stress and whatever's going on, we don't know what a person to go through and what a person to think about saying. You know what I'm saying? In the time of duress, especially when the time of a loss of a child. I feel what you're saying, and it can go that way, but we don't know exactly what a person would be, you know what I'm saying, going through emotionally, mentally, and physically, you know what I'm saying, or in a thought process when something like this would happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not negating that what you're saying is wrong, but I'm just saying it's a lot of different variables and ways that you can look at this and be had. You know, you could say one thing and I could see it another way. That's all I'm showing.
No, I understand. You understand. But that's just my thought, because I feel like that. But she don't seem like the type of, oh, I hate to say this word, niggerish. She don't, you know what I'm saying? Because she got some education on it. She well, you see what I'm saying? Because she's not even.
But let me inform you, that's your lack of knowledge on the word. You feel me? Because you saying niggerish like you're applying it to a specific group. You know, when you look up the definition of the word, it doesn't apply to a specific group's race or culture or ethnicity.
Man, we been conversation.
But I know how you meant it, but for the sake of this conversation.
We being for real. We're not being technical. You know what I'm saying?
I'm most definitely being for real, and I'm most definitely being technical, because in these type of conversations and situations, and the way you talking, we have a broad, diverse audience, and some people know and some people don't know. So it's not a thing about being technical. It's about a thing of being awoken to what things are and how they are. You feel me? This is life. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it comes out now, and then it's because if it comes out to say that these boys did do this, a lot of these people that's in these comments and these chats, or that say, "Oh man, whoop the bam and get on the boat with me and all this goofy ass shit." And if it come out to say that the boys did do it, they're not going to recant their statements. They're still going to feel the same way.
Yeah.
Still going to feel the same way. And I get it. We get to think about words and not let words, words are empowering, right? This is all you're taught. Words are empowering. Words are powerful. Words create spells and all this old extra woke metaphysical shit. And I'm into that shit now. I'm speaking now. We just speaking now, right? We get that shit. And then, when you're a shorty, you hear that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never hurt me. Then they feed you that bullshit. You feel me? Life is confused. It's all about confusion. It's all about a state of division. It's all about a state of controlling your mind and everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we got to understand, yes, it ain't a thing of being technical. We just have to know that when we're using these certain words, especially when we're talking about these type of cases and you're directing them to your own, you feel me? I have to say that that's not technically what the word means. And I get what you're saying and how you trying to objectify and describe the situation. But and you know what I'm saying? Like I get it, but yeah, we got to, because like I said, at the end of the day, bro, these same people, bro, that feel his way and that feel he ain't do nothing, if they find out that he did do something, bro, we still gonna be the N-word at the end of the day. And this problem ain't gonna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Bigotry, prejudice, racism amongst whatever, however you want to call it, it's still gonna exist. It's still gonna be here.
Yeah.
Women are marrying black men and we're having kids and things of that nature and shit like
But I didn't see the beginning part to where they got to the part of the conversation. Yeah, I remember that was earlier today when I seen
yeah,
that.
no, this was the same show. I watched the same show, but I
They must have repaired it because when I came home from work, that's when I seen the Garfield part. That was by like 5 o'clock. But I was at work when I seen when he come on about, I think 9 or 10, whatever time he come on. But I clicked on to that part when they were talking about that. Yeah, when he said he went to the restaurant and it was a Mexican dude married to a black woman or something like that. Or a black woman, a black man married to, and they had 2 kids or something. Yeah, I seen that though. Yeah. But this
that don't negate the fact that shit, that's just one person. But
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
My bad, but back to that part though. This is my thing. They steady talking about the alcohol. Now I only heard one time about cocaine, then they got very quiet. One meeting was on, I'm like, damn, like all that don't have nothing to do with, I mean, it could play a part, but it don't have nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and then too, we can't well, I don't think people letting the police department off the hook because it's a lot of corruption. It looks like with the Mississippi Police Department, bro. Look like there's a bunch of corruption going on.
So Sarah Homendez said this is the issue with the case. Speculations. That's why the friends lawyered up immediately because from day one the public and family were blaming them. So no. So again, I do want to make this be known and make this be clear. I'm not blaming these boys, right? These boys, Bart, Katie. I'm not blaming anyone. So when we have these conversations, I just like to bring up different. So whatever you guys shoot out or whatever you guys say, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna, flip it around and say, well, what about this or what about that? I'm not saying these things are actually what happened or actually could have been what happened or whatever the case may be, because we don't know. No one knows. Because again, like I say, it could have really been an accident. But even within that, so let's keep it this simple. Even if it was an accident, right? Like how you saying where they lawyered up because of the speculations and all this bullshit, right? But if it was an accident, why not just say it was an accident?
Yeah, because if I lawyer up, it automatically give me right to assume. If you know what I'm saying, like just say, and God forbid something happened to one of our friends and they was with us, I'm not gonna go get a lawyer. Even though I might not know what happened, I'm not gonna get a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? So you can't just automatically say the world was gonna suspect, oh, they had something to do with it. That's why they got a lawyer. No. You got a lawyer for a reason. Cause that's automatic speculation. If we good friends or buddies or whatever the case, we wasn't that good of friends. We just buddies or whatever the case may be. My first mind is not to get a lawyer before, you know what I'm saying? And they already made it a drowning, a accidental drowning. That's what they put out. The police put out. So why are we getting a lawyer?
Yeah. So Tammy Pierce, you said they passed a lie detector test. No, they passed some level of a stress detection test. They never took a polygraph. So they took a version or some form of what you can call you can say it was some form of a lie detector test, but it wasn't an actual polygraph. So we can't say they passed a lie detector test, an actual, you know what I'm saying, test that they would give you. And again, I don't think even if they did or they didn't, which it really wouldn't have made a difference for them taking it any damn way, because I don't believe that they're admissible in the state of Mississippi. Now you can petition a motion for a judge to for it to become admissible into court and to be used as evidence. But usually those type of things, it don't. It depends on the type of case that's pending or whatever the case may be.
I want you to go back before it was any expert. You played that show that night, that Sunday night. I think it was a Sunday night when you played The Wire. I told you stuff that professionals were saying, the way he was sitting, the way his arms were folded. Like I say, because like I say, I can sit down, like me and Nike fam always talk about my partner E. Bro, I can't hold a whole conversation without crying, bro, because that's my partner. That's my here. It's some niggas from school. I'm feel emotional behind. We weren't just everyday partners. Like, bro, you gotta show some type of emotion, man. It just I can't see nobody sitting there as much as they say they was cool, but then it was more like they was trying to clear their ass or clear their friends or whatever the case. I don't know. This shit's so crazy, bro.
It still would have been some type of emotion. Let's get back to Nancy and see what Nancy talking about.
Investigators, experts, and sources from within
All right, my boy.
the case itself. Stay on top of the nation's biggest trials with us from United with us, including analysis. Crime One. I hope to see you there, and thank you, friend.
So you want to start a podcast, but you're not sure how.
Oh, my bad.
Riverside's got you covered. First, go to riverside.com and open an account. And when you're ready to
You are now seeing the photo that Brian Trasher from United Cajun Navy has provided on page 14 of their new timeline report. We're blowing it up. We see 1, 2, 3 at the forefront, 3 white females in bikinis, 1 white male walking along. Now, beside the woman in the bikini on the right, I see 2 people. One looks like a female furthest away, but between the white female and the other female, there is an African-American male. That does not look like Nolan Wells to me. Okay, I'm going to have to bring in NASA to enhance this. Brian Trasher, does this guy have facial hair? That's not Nolan.
Nolan wasn't even.
I mean, again, we couldn't verify, but we could tell that it was an African-American male on the beach wearing blue swim trunks. We thought that was enough to say, okay, it's possible, but we did
Those
like
are
you
dark
said,
blue.
I mean, skin tone.
Aren't those deep dark blue?
It looks like it, but Nancy, I don't know if this picture's been enhanced. I don't know if it's been filtered. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the whole reason why we couldn't corroborate, but it was like, okay. And also too, this does create a good picture of a flotilla of boats. So where if we were looking for a particular one, you know, it was a good one to hang on to. So again, fully disclosing.
And the other day when we was talking about digital fingerprints, man, they can tell if that damn picture was enhanced.
That we could not definitively say whether that was him or not. Probably not.
But we need it for the investigation. We need it. And you provided it.
Rule it out.
You got it.
Use it to rule it out.
Okay,
Rule it
so
out.
is this Nolan? If it is Nolan, this is at 450 and proves he's still.
And first of all, how many pictures do they have floating around about the fucking Nolan? Clearly, now I get it because he did, like you say, he don't know if it's doctored or whatever. But even if they claim it was Nolan and the picture was doctored up, Nolan wasn't even that fucking dark. So, what? What?
On the island when the other boat, the Triton, leaves. I don't think this is Nolan. But that's just my own two eyes, 2020 and 2018. It needs to be enhanced. Joining us now, veteran trial lawyer out of the South Carolina jurisdiction, John Mobley, the founder of the John Mobley Law Firm. See, a lot of people would say, oh, this is a nightmare, all these witnesses. I would have a field day interviewing each witness separately. It's like a bonanza. What do you make of what you're hearing, Mobley?
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. I reviewed the report in detail. I don't think it puts any points on the board. I don't think it moves the needle. If anything, I think it shows everyone that has opinions out there how difficult it is to find reliable information. Because one thing I will have to say about the report, although I didn't find it particularly useful, is that it sourced all of its information. And unlike a Netflix documentary where people will form opinions on second and third hand information, it would say, this person said this, but this person didn't witness it firsthand. This person repeated what someone else said. Or it said this person made this statement on Facebook. I mean, even the digital information, the photos, those aren't reliable because, number one, like they say, you can't corroborate the timestamp. It could be the timestamp when the photo was screenshot versus taken. Or even the last one we looked at, they're saying they can't say it was reliable because it could have been enhanced, with the color manipulated. So I think it just goes to show how difficult it is to find any real reliable information on this case.
Mobley, no offense, but you're wasting my time. I got 1 hour tonight, and you just wasted almost 1 minute of it. Every investigation starts somewhere. Let me just understand something. You have tried a lot of cases, right? That's what I was told.
A ton, and I won most of them.
Nothing like tooting your own horn. Bonk, bonk. That said, every investigation starts somewhere. Yes, I don't have the timestamp, but I can get the timestamp because I know about the photo. You start somewhere. Then you start digging, and then you find out what time it was taken. Then you find out if it was enhanced. Then you find out, is that Nolan at 4:50 and the boat has left? You enhance that audio we keep playing. You find out if they're saying Nolan's dead. I don't know if that's real or not, but I can find out if it's real. So for you, a trial lawyer like yourself, in your own words, won most of them, evidence is not handed to you, Mobley, on a silver platter, on top of a Christmas tree. You have to find it. You have to investigate it. And that is the point of this timeline from the Cajun Navy. They're giving us a plethora, a cornucopia of evidence for us to start with. What? Don't waste another minute. Don't do it.
Down a rabbit hole. It takes you down a rabbit hole of information that may not be reliable. The best thing to do is to talk
Man, who is paying you? Because it ain't me. We don't pay guests. Rabbit hole, my rear end. Objection, my rear end. A rabbit hole? That's like you get a list of witnesses and go, yeah, I don't have their addresses. Screw it. You have to find them. You have to find the people that took these pictures. You have to find the people that were on those boats after you ID the boats. Then you have to take them one by one and interview. You know what? I'm sending him to the corner and let him think about what he just said. Trasher, that's a tiny taste of what you're about to get. Hey, Caitlin Becker joining us, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of NY Postcast. That's her podcast. Caitlin, what do you make of the photos and the timeline created this far by the United Cajun Navy? Come on, it's something. We've got something. We're not getting anything from the government. We don't have the autopsy. We don't have any information. Nothing. They've gone radio silent.
it's exceptionally helpful to have these things laid out in this way with coordinates and times and pulling in some of the relevant social media information while also noting that it hasn't been verified. It's giving us, I think, the most comprehensive timeline that we could possibly have. I mean, not to push back, because I feel like you push back so much on that poor man, but the rabbit hole is the internet. The rabbit hole is reading every single person's theory. This is concrete information. And when it's not concrete, it says this hasn't been verified. This is at least giving me, from an investigative standpoint as a journalist, somewhere to focus my efforts, to focus my search. The thing that stands out to me are all of the people, like you said, potential witnesses, but also how similar everyone is dressed. They're all in bathing suits, and all the boats look pretty similar to me too. So that to me indicates that someone who's saying, I saw this person on this boat, I saw that person on that boat, might not be super clear on that, because as I'm looking at this image, everybody kind of looks the same. All boats kind of look the same, which does muddy the waters even more and makes talking to them so
I've got
critical.
to work with you before I put you on the stand, girl. No. You are not getting up there and saying, they all look the same to me. No. We would get the name of the boats. We would find who was out on the boat that day from its owner, and I would ask them who's on the boat. I would not rely, no offense, on your boozy eyesight from 30 yards away. Okay, no offense.
Nance, neither would I. Neither would I.
But there are ways, to, contrary to what Mobley just blurted out, there are ways to find these witnesses and nail them down. If that photo is Nolan Wells and it doesn't look like Nolan to me, then he's on the island at 7 p.m. Okay, now let me remind everybody that the guys on the boat, the Triton with Nolan, they're not charged with anything. They are presumed innocent. So don't be starting up the death threats and all that on them. We need them interviewed separately if they hadn't already been. Who knows what we can learn from them? Don't attack them. I want you to hear what one of them said, though, about the mysterious Katie.
I didn't wake up again until a little after 11 o'clock. And that was to my brother coming in the room being like, hey, Warren's trying to get a hold of you. Warren gets on the phone and he's just like, hey, man, he was like, hey, have you talked to Nolan? Anything else? I was like, no, I haven't talked to him, man. He was with that girl last time I knew. And he was like, okay. He was like, man, we can't get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. And I was like, man, it's Nolan. He's probably just out somewhere with that girl. Like, get a hold of the girl, you probably find Nolan.
Okay, right there, I'm getting a red flag. That's from the Officer Tatum podcast, who joined us recently. That girl, the mysterious Katie. Remember, nobody who knew who she was. But then later, Dave Mack, do we learn that one of the guys on the boat had been texting with her and knew full well who it was? Where did the name Katie come from?
Katie was known to at least one person in the group, and that leads you to believe there were certainly more. There were a number of comments publicly made by friends of Nolan that backtracking, claiming they didn't know who Katie was, had never seen her before, and then you find out, yeah, well, not only did they know her, but they were texting around about her. So there's a lot of missing information here, Nancy, and it's why you've said all along, why are these guys not on a polygraph?
Marie?
Just because we're having a lot of people coming up with a lot of different theories, I agree with Caitlin. Not every theory deserves the breath of air. It's not all true. I think it could confuse the search for justice when we're entertaining every single person who posts every single theory, even when it makes no sense. And I have to bring my friend out of probation and say that you can't, go according to every single piece of information you get. It has to make sense to warrant the investigators taking time to investigate. And the fact that they're not sharing with us, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not doing it all. There's no law that says they have to share everything they're finding out with the public.
Hi, guys, American homeowners. The FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called title theft, and your equity is the target. With just a forged signature, your ownership can be transferred out of your name, and without protection in place, you're left with an emotional and financial nightmare. That is why we partner with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim and protect yourself. Use promo code Nancy at HometitleLock.com to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if you're a victim of fraud, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Don't be a victim. Protect your home equity today. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Nancy, or just use the link below. And good luck. What you're seeing now is a post made by Katie's sister. Katie had a convo, assumed Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out in. Katie made it home on another boat. Katie assumed the friends telling him, get on, wouldn't have left without him. Okay, so he says, I'm going back with my friends. She thinks he got on the boat. The mystery girl Wells reportedly stayed behind to speak with has been identified. Now, at the get-go, we were told no one knew who she was. He had never met her before. He had just met her and was talking to her. But her sister provides a different account of what happened. Whenever I see a conflict in the evidence, I have a problem. This is all unfolding as we go to air tonight. We wait for that toxicology report. We wait for the autopsy to be revealed. We wait for a witness list to be produced. At this hour, reports a grand jury is convening to amass evidence, much the way the Cajun Navy did. If you know or think you know anything regarding this case, dial 228-769-3063. 228-769-3063. There's been a lot of questions regarding this number. That is the number for law enforcement. We remember an American hero, Deputy Sheriff Bradley Link, Lake County Sheriff's, Florida, just 28, gunned down in the line of duty, leaving behind a wife, now widow, Brittany. American hero, Deputy Sheriff Bradley Link. Thank you to our guests, but especially to you for being with us tonight as we search for the truth, aside from all the noise and the threats, the falsities, the enhancements, the alterations. The truth is there, and we will find it. Nancy Gray signing off for tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, good night, friend.
So, Nancy. And I'm usually not a big Nancy fan, y'all. Oh, excuse me. I'm not really a big Nancy fan, to be honest with you. So again, I'm not gonna even try to say what her narrative was or what they trying to push or whatever the case may be or whatever the case. But I do like what she doing, man. You feel me? I finally think Nancy doing the right thing. But I got one more video that I want to play for you guys, man. One more. And this is from Law and Crime. Check this out. And of course, a lot of things is going to be regurgitated, you guys. We know that.
A missing hour that investigators still can't explain publicly. The United Cajun Navy has just released its full investigative report on the Nolan Wells case. And this is raising new questions about what really happened on Horn Island, revealing what investigators maybe still can't verify. We're going to break down the biggest findings for you right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, so you don't need me to tell you that this case, the Nolan Wells case, has been full of theories and speculation and unanswered questions. But today, we now have something a little more concrete. Maybe. The United Cajun Navy, the volunteer search team that was on Horn Island within hours of Nolan Wells going missing, they have released its complete investigative report. And what they found is significant. And to be clear, this is not the sheriff's office investigation, but you do wonder, are they going to rely on this in some capacity? So you have new photos, okay? New photos seemingly showing how investigators believe the boats were positioned. New witness statements that fill in potentially parts of the timeline. And there's this critical gap. It's a window of just over an hour that could hold the key to what really happened to Nolan Wells. And we're going to take you into all of that, but even more has happened since our last update on this case. There's so much that happens in the last 24 hours in this case. And just a quick reminder about what we're talking about if you're just joining us. So this is 18-year-old Nolan Wells, disappeared during a 4th of July boating trip to Horn Island, Mississippi. His friends returned to the mainland without him. The accounts have been that he chose to stay behind, possibly to talk to a young lady. 2 days later, his body was found. His family has been fighting for answers ever since. They have been asking for a thorough investigation by law enforcement. They've hired outside counsel, Ben Crump, to represent them during the course of this whole investigation. And now we are learning that some of the people who were with Nolan that day, for example, Warren Hudson, the one whose father offered a $50,000 reward for information, along with 2 others, Jack Spatalo and Morgan Seymour, they are now fighting back. They have launched a Give, Send, Go fundraiser with a goal of $100,000 to cover legal defense costs. In the description, they say they've been, quote, inundated with death threats, threats of violence, and defamation. They have been falsely and wrongly blamed by individuals online and in the media of either directly or indirectly having a hand in Nolan's death. Most of them could not even attend their own best friend's funeral. Now, an attorney for the Hudson family confirmed to Rolling Stone that this fundraiser is legitimate, that the money would be used to pursue potential defamation claims against what he called the online mob. And by the way, speaking of threats, and we've talked about it here on Sidebar, they apparently just keep on coming. The Sun Herald reports that an Illinois man named Edward James Porter has now been charged with threatening to kill witnesses and their families in connection with the ongoing state investigation into Nolan's death. Allegedly, he told one witness he was going to, quote, come kill them, sent them their home address. He's accused of telling another witness he would kill them, cut up the body, stuff the remains into a suitcase. And this follows 2 previous arrests that we talked about, one in Ohio, one in California, allegedly connected to threats in this case. And then you have Nolan's mom, Christine Wonsley, who has not only been searching for answers in this case, but now she's pushing back. She's pushing back on a narrative out there that has been circulating, telling Don Lemon on his show that one of Nolan's football coaches saw him on the island between 2:45 and 3:30 p.m. that day and said he was, quote, perfectly fine, that he was not sloppy drunk. So pushing back on the narrative that Nolan was heavily intoxicated, that it's been brought up in several media reports. And she's questioning why that narrative has been pushed, saying, is this a narrative that you guys want to use? There was an internal MDMR email that we obtained that describes Nolan's alcohol intake as heavy. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources shows they believe Nolan had been drinking heavily before he was reported missing. But the coach's account and Wonsley's insistence raised questions about whether that's accurate. And we should also note that the state toxicology report hasn't been publicly released yet. That report, along with the autopsy report, is all being withheld until a grand jury is impaneled and makes a decision. Remember, the sheriff's office is still investigating this. By all accounts, under Mississippi law, this is going to be presented to a grand jury, because that's a key point, right? The official state autopsy is complete, but the results are sealed. District Attorney Angel Myers-Macarath says that every death in the county that isn't natural causes or a non-criminal car wreck goes to a grand jury, meaning the report is not going to be public until that process is complete. We do not have a timeline on when that will happen. Okay, I know this is a 180, but I just have to call out a sponsor that really helps make these episodes happen. And this is for all of you business owners out there. I think you should really listen up, because look, running a business is tough enough, right? Why make it harder doing things manually, relying on dozens of apps that don't really talk to each other? Well, that's where our sponsor, Odoo, comes in. Manufacturing, they're what the United Cajun. That I don't believe we've seen before, because this shows 3 boats anchored side by side, the Palm Beach, the Triton, that's the boat that we believe Nolan was on, and the third boat labeled boat number 3. This is interesting. The report includes a statement from an independent witness, a woman who took a photo of those same boats and said when her group left at 7:30 p.m. that night, Nolan was, quote, nowhere in sight. There's more. Remember that audio that was released, the distress call that was made from the boat that Nolan was supposedly on, or was on at one point in time? Not clear if he was on at that point when the call was made, although we've seen video back and forth that would suggest he wasn't. But remember, the idea was the boat was taking on water, and then you had these young people panicking. This call?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
So the audio had been later enhanced. People online were claiming they heard people panicking about Nolan in the background, though that's not officially been verified by law enforcement. And here is what is important about this now. According to this United Cajun Navy report, the Cajun Navy couldn't find any evidence to establish when the boat actually began taking on water. Timeline's important here, right? Remember, the friends are saying the boat was taking on water, so they had to leave, but Nolan apparently chose to stay behind. The United Cajun Navy is saying they couldn't come up with anything to confirm that timeline. So when did the water actually start coming in? And it's important to note that this report is an independent review, right? It's not from the state's findings. It's not from the sheriff's findings. The state investigation remains ongoing, but clearly we have a lot to talk about. And this is why we brought in someone who can make sense of everything. Joining me now is Alex Beer. He's a forensic diver, marine law enforcement expert who has investigated cases just like this one. Alex, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry. Sorry. If you want to say thanks for having me. I sneezed right in your intro. Sorry.
No, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Got it. So, Alex, I want to go through this piece by piece, and I want to start with these new photos that we haven't seen before from this report. So you have these 3 boats that are anchored side by side, the Palm Beach, the Triton, again, that's the boat that we believe Nolan arrived on, and a third boat labeled Boat 3. Now, here's the thing. The report itself says that these labels are source annotations, not the actual registration identifications of these boats. So can we actually find out who was on which boat? Does that matter? Talk to us about that.
I mean, you could, well, if you could get the registration numbers, obviously you can get the owners. It would be difficult, I would say, to get who was on each boat, given that, unless you have somebody that was on each of those boats testify to how many people they brought out there, who was there, it would take some corroboration from the people that were actually on board. There's going to be no like manifest or anything like that to refer to. So you're going to rely on witnesses that would say, yes, I had A, B, and C on my boat and X, Y, and Z on my boat, and this is who came out with us and this is who left with us. But that's through investigation. The investigators would have to figure that out.
And Alex, I want you to take a look at this. So the report indicates how the boats were positioned and how they moved. And they found that it appears in one photo there on the left, you can see the vessel they're calling Boat X anchored between boats 1 and 2. And then it's not present in the photo on the right. So you're kind of seeing some movement, a transition there. Why is that significant?
I mean, it's going to show, if these are boats that are in question in this investigation, one, it will show hopefully a timeline when the boats were there and sort of where they were in relation to the world, who may or may not have been on those as they relate to the case. And then a boat not being there would then give an indication, well, what time or roughly what time did that boat leave? And that will play into the timeline of the case. As far as how they're anchored or why they're positioned there, or, this was I'm sure if you had a much broader photograph of that area at that time, you would probably have 100 boats anchored along that beachfront that are just jockeying for a place to get in close to the beach to enjoy the day's, what was going on there on that day on 4th of July.
And here's where it gets really, really specific, because the report includes a shoreline photograph that's believed to have been taken at 4:50 p.m., so 19 minutes after the Triton apparently left at 4:31 p.m. And in that photo, the photo known as boat number 2, they say it's no longer in the original position. So by 4:50 p.m., at least one boat had already moved. The report notes Nolan could be in that photo at 4:50 p.m., but, could be. It's not confirmed. And I guess this would go against what we've heard so much about the reporting, that the last time people saw him who were with him was 3 p.m., right? So I think that's significant.
It could be significant. Again, these are all, I think a lot of this reporting is still developing. I don't know that any of this has been rock solid confirmed that this is a definitive. I think as they're working through this investigation, they're trying to narrow it down. But again, that relies on things like pictures that have been given to investigators from the public from that day. And as they're combing through those photographs, they're trying to piece it together in a logical or more of a concrete timeline. It will take some time to do that. It's a little bit difficult. You have to recognize, is that the boat? There's a lot of questions. Is that same boat? Is it not the same boat? Is that him on it? Is that not him on it? They're working through that. And it's difficult because unlike TV, it's not put it up, let's enhance this, let's clean it up and run it. It doesn't work quite that smoothly. And most agencies don't really have that technology, and the technology is more for TV purposes. It's not as CSI as people would probably like it to be. So, but that's part of the investigation.
Let me ask you, just generally speaking, before we go to the timeline, how much does law enforcement rely on a United Cajun Navy report?
I mean, I don't know how much they in that area would rely on it. The Cajun Navy, to the best of my recollection, really sort of came about from Hurricane Katrina, which was a bunch of well-meaning citizens that had means and the ability to get boats out and help people. And I think that's great. Volunteer groups are good to work with. I think that's part of it. I don't know that it will be the key piece of evidence or the linchpin that holds it all together, but it's more information. And all you can ask for in an investigation is to get as much information that is true and factual together to basically build your investigation.
And here is where the Navy's report identifies the core problem, because according to the report, the last independently corroborated sighting of Nolan occurred between 3:23 p.m. and 4:27 p.m. So that's a window of just over an hour, and there's been no information yet to fill what is a gap here. So, Alex, based on your experience investigating cases like that, what could have happened during that window? How do you investigate kind of essentially a missing hour with, as right now, no public witnesses, right? We don't know what law enforcement knows. We don't know who they've interviewed, but there seems to be this gap. And at one point, you're talking about a barrier island. It is isolated. It's 10 miles off the coast. But at the same time, it's not just a tiny, tiny island. It's a rather larger island. You have a lot of boats there, a lot of people, and you have this window of time. What should we be thinking about? How do you investigate?
I think we need to be careful for all of the online sleuths out there that the information that is currently available to the public may not be as much as is available to the current investigators. Those that are coming on, doing shows like this and doing other things are operating under what they know. That's not necessarily the same thing as what investigators know. And investigators are not always obligated, nor should they always want to. We talk a lot about transparency, but when you're conducting an investigation, sometimes you have to hold back information so that you're not leading other possible witnesses into conclusions. And so we don't know that window is smaller or larger as of this point from the investigator side. But what investigators would do is continue to run down people that were there that day, schedule interviews, lock people into stories, and try and get as much down to that as they can. But the reality is that there may just be a gap there where you have 100 people are at for lack of a better term, a large party. Who's really paying attention to one individual person and sort of watching them? When, he's doing whatever he was doing, you're not necessarily tracking all those people on a one-on-one basis.
And it should be also noted, when this report was completed, the investigation by law enforcement is still continuing, so things could change, right? And so this Navy report also notes something that's very important that I want to mention here. So they couldn't establish a, quote, continuous, independently corroborated chain from Nolan's last known sighting through 4:31 p.m. Is that unusual?
Yeah, that's not unusual. I mean, if you could imagine yourself at any large gathering, if you were plucked out of the crowd and then asked, could you tell me where the lady in the red dress that you see right here was at through the night? If you weren't particularly paying attention to that person, how would you know that? And so they're trying to take everybody's account. And then time is a funny thing, because if you're at an event like this or you're at a party, how often are you unless you have someplace to be, are you always tracking your time? So that's not necessarily the easiest thing to nail down to a minute-by-minute account of any one thing. In this case, you're dealing with a lot of kids. They're doing whatever they're doing and having a good time. I don't know how much they're paying attention if they're otherwise distracted. So it's difficult. It is. The investigators are certainly climbing an uphill battle, especially under the scrutiny and the public attention that it's gotten. That everybody wants answers, and they do too. But it takes time to try and figure that part of it out.
I want to circle back to something that I mentioned earlier. So according to the report, there was a woman on the island named Caitlin Burchard, who apparently snapped a picture of the vessels and reported that Nolan was nowhere in sight when her group left the island at 7:30 p.m. That's the screenshot of her statement above the picture. So, Alex, let's talk about this for a second. 3 hours, apparently after the friends had left, according to this witness, Nolan could have already been gone from the area. This is, I think, significant. This is significant. I think that 7:30 p.m. timeline, because a big conversation is, how did no one see what happened to him, even if it was accidental, or what the situation may be? How does that factor into the timeline? How does that factor into the analysis? Because it's one thing to say the last time we all saw him, we were with him, was in the afternoon, and now you hear this account about 7:30.
The last known person, the last witness who's saying that they snapped this photo, nowhere to be seen. That just tells you, okay, well, if he's nowhere at 7:30, that's sort of your end point, right? Because then if nobody saw him beyond, whatever, it's 3:30, 4:30, now 7:30, so there's your window. So now you've got this window of time that now you've got to start working it from both ends and can we collapse that window to a smaller window and maybe get a better idea of when exactly or whereabouts he was when he went missing? And then was there any series of events that took place at that time that would indicate what possibly happened? The reality is, too, that I know that there's some questions about autopsies and the two autopsies being done. I know one is right now saying there's no confirmed cause of death. But let's say, for argument's sake, let's say it was a drowning. Unlike TV, drownings aren't always this huge event where somebody's screaming, help, help, help. Sometimes a drowning victim will just slips away and nobody notices it.
Can you clarify that for a minute? Because in situations like this, you're dealing with a very specific environment. And there's a back and forth right now about whether Nolan had been drinking and to what extent. In your experience, what do you mean by that? Give me a scenario by which this could have been an accidental drowning and no one saw him and no one could have helped him. If we're talking about timelines, we're talking about events. Can you imagine a scenario where that would have happened?
About the only, a scenario that could have happened. The scenario that would come to mind, and I'm not by any means saying this is what happened, but a scenario that would be illogical to that would be he finds himself stuck without a ride. He's a young, healthy, athletic individual. He thinks, hey man, I'm going to have to swim for it, gets tired, panics, and drowns. And he's 18 years old. I will tell you that drowning deaths and drowning victims in the United States, that's in that category, that 18 to 24 range. And people always ask, well, why is that? They're young and they're healthy. And that's even people that can swim. But it's also for those of you that can remember when you were 18 years old, you feel pretty invincible. You think, hey, I can do this. That's not that far. I can make it. And unfortunately, a lot of times that's where people get into trouble. And even a healthy, good swimmer can drown. It doesn't mean just because you can swim and you're athletic, doesn't mean you're not susceptible to getting tired and panicking.
which is one of the reasons I talked about this with Joseph Scott Morgan in our sidebar yesterday, that even if the official state autopsy comes back that this was a result of drowning, do you still have all the pieces of the puzzle? Do you still know exactly what happened? It's so complicated. And look, by the way, going back to that young lady's report, her statement, the Navy's report notes that that statement is potentially useful as a negative observation. They still have to corroborate. They still have to verify it. And Alex, I want to look at something else that has been getting a lot of buzz. We've been building towards this. I want to go to the distress call. Okay, so the one where these young people said the boat.
Why waste another summer not loving your body?
With Base 44, we turned that question into a successful business.
Was sinking. That audio, very important because it's been a key part of the Friends story. They say the boat was taking on water. That's why they had to leave. The Navy's report says there's no evidence to confirm when that happened. And also significant, the MDMR report, that's the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, notes that at 4:31, the boat moved at 0.6 to 4.2 knots for nearly an hour before resuming normal operation at 5:25 p.m. So again, we've seen a lot. We've seen video that's come out where it looks like they're getting help and you don't see Nolan on board. There's been back and forth about the audio call. What do you hear in the background? If a boat were really taking on water, what evidence should exist? How does the speed of the boat affect your analysis of this? What should we be thinking about?
Well, I mean, obviously, why is the boat taking on water and otherwise a boat in good working order taking on water? And it could be some logical ones would be damage to the hull would be one way for a boat to take on water. A failed through fitting, which is pulling water into the boat or pushing water out of the boat, i.e. from a bilge pump or something like that. Even though they're normally above the water line, if you're weighted down with a bunch of people, it could be the tow eye got mangled. There's a number of things that could cause a boat to take on water. The speed would then indicate sometimes most boats, if you have power and you are making forward momentum, that's forcing the water to the back of the boat, which allows it to run out of, via gravity, run out of like scuppers. So you're better to keep moving to keep that water pouring out the back than to stop and allow water to then overtake the boat itself. And that would also be an indicator of the speed, possibly that they weren't able to go much faster. It could be a number of things that could cause that. And we see it a lot. We have boats come in saying, hey, I'm taking on water. They want to blow through a speed zone because they know if they slow down, it's going to overcome their bilge pumps. And so they want to stay on power till either A, they get back to their dock, to their boat lift, or they get to someplace where they can push it up on a beach so that they're not having to salvage the boat later and deal with it that way.
I want to get your opinion on one thing before we wrap up on this. So the Navy report identifies 5 specific problems here that still need to be resolved. According to the report, investigators need to 1, authenticate the last independently corroborated sighting of Nolan, the exact time, location, source, media. 2, authenticate the 3:23 and 4:27 media. Determine whether those times are event times, post times, screen recording times. 3, identify boat X, determine when it left the configuration, where it went, who was on board. 4, authenticate the 4:31 departure using primary electronic data, not just recollection. And 5, create a complete occupant by occupant vessel roster and compare each person's statement against the visual record. And the Navy's report says that until these 5 points are resolved, any narrative claiming certainty about Nolan, what he was doing, his movements, quote, exceeds what the supplied evidence can support. Talk to me about what you think about that. If we're ever going to really be, how you even go about resolving those 5 points of potential uncertainty. And I'm hoping law enforcement is doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think those are all valid points. I certainly don't think it's anything that the law enforcement investigators aren't already attempting to do. And while I appreciate the input, and as an investigator, I would appreciate the input from the Cajun Navy or somebody who has experience in that, I could assure you that investigators are working on all of those things, to include looking at GPS data from GPS units on the boats, trying to get specific times off of both electronically and witness account and see how much they match up, and are working towards all of those things. But again, I would also stress that you're talking about hundreds of people. Not everybody at that island that day, I'm sure, has come forward to say, like, yeah, I was there, because there'll be a segment of that group, not necessarily the immediate group, but a group of the revelers at the island. They're like, I don't want to be any part of this. Not that they're trying to not, like, they're guilty. I'm just saying they're like, I just don't want to be involved.
Well, with the threats going on and all this attention, right, and the on social media, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So I think that, and I think that's where we have to, in today's day and age of sort of this instant gratification that we get from, YouTube and the internet, to the painstaking process it takes to build an investigation as sort of wide open as this, with so many moving parts. The family wanting answers. Somebody wants somebody to be blamed for this, and there's a lot of things there, and people want to throw into it things that I don't, in my opinion, don't really think are relevant. Whether that's race, or whether that's he was this or she was that, or the group is this. There's a lot of, and then you have all of the what I just referred to as the comment section that just want to fire things out there to be, you know, incendiary or to get a rise out of somebody. And I think a lot of that stuff starts to muddy the waters. You know, the law enforcement feels pressure from the public. Of course they do, and they should. But they also are trying to do what they can with the information they have and build their investigation.
And that's why the family hired Ben Crump, because if one thing you can say is it brings attention to this, and they were concerned that this was going to be, you know, no foul play, nothing to see here, and they want a thorough investigation. So, you know, by hiring Ben Crump and bringing all this attention to it, there's a lot of eyeballs. Before I let you go, I mean, you just tell me, I know you don't have all the evidence, and I know you're just looking at the reporting like I am. Do you think it points more towards an accident or foul play?
Well, I mean, without having all the information from the autopsy report, so this would be swinging in the dark with a blindfold on. If it is foul play based on findings in the autopsy and any sort of injuries that he may have sustained, I would hope and I would want those people responsible brought to justice. If the autopsy and the evidence shows that there was no apparent foul play or there are no injuries to him beyond what looks like a drowning, I want the family to feel confident in the investigation that took place. And those are two very different things to appease, because no family wants to lose a child. And that's a hard thing to reconcile with, and it's a huge grieving process. And for all those out there that are offering content or comments that aren't helping to move this forward, there is a family grieving the loss of their son, and that's tragic. If it was a tragic accident, I want to see the community come together and celebrate this kid's life. He seemed, from all accounts, that he was a wonderful young man who was active in his in his school, with his friends, with his family, and I hope that he's forever remembered for that. And to his family, I offer my deepest condolences, and I hope the investigators find what happened.
100%. And look, we're kind of on a weird timeline because we don't know how far along the sheriff's investigation is. We don't know when this is going to be presented to a grand jury, but we'll see. We want this family to get closure. We want this family to get answers. It's a really, really upsetting situation. Alex Spear, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always,
hey, well, you know what I will say? Out of all the things that I've watched, and all the things that I have you know what I'm saying, seen, you know, as far as content creators and people reporting and just giving, you know what I'm saying, a little spiel or whatever the case may be, whether it's pushing a narrative, whether it's speculation, whether it's rate baiting, whether it's clickbait, you know, whatever you want to call it. I respect what he said at the end. I always say RIP to Nolan Wells, and you know what I'm saying, condolences to, you know, to his family and things like that. But his breakdown at the end, you feel me, like that's the most important part about this, you feel me? Because this didn't happen in a community where we can say it was all melanated people. This just didn't happen in a community where it was just white on white people. This happened and I don't want to say a mixed community because outnumbered no matter what, but in a community where, you know what I'm saying, you know, his parents was thriving. You know, he been there since, you know, we know middle school. Whether they was his friends or not, I don't know. But this was tragic. You know, this is something that, you know, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, or as a family member, you would never want to wake up, you know what I'm saying, one day kissing, you know, your loved one goodbye. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you later. You know, and next thing you know, boom, they don't come home, you know, in the next couple of days. And it's like, you know, the body is, you know, it's sickening. You feel me? Now, if it's an accident, excuse me, if it's an accident, which I'm not saying that it's not, you know what I'm saying? And guess what? It could be an accident and they don't know what happened, right? You know what I'm saying? That's okay. If it was an accident and they do know what happened, I want to let everybody know that's watching, that's going to tune in, and to any and everybody, that it's still okay. Now, I'm not discrediting the fact that something didn't happen to him, because if it did happen, you know, yes, morally it's not okay, but how are we going to fix this? Like, how are we going to come to a solution? You know, I like the way he ended it, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, he didn't go this far, but, you know, as far as just, you know, it was just a disdain on the community, you know, for the people involved and around. And again, excuse me, it being Mississippi, we don't want to paint that picture. We don't want to paint that narrative. I'm pretty sure. And we're going to take this approach. I'm pretty sure the people of Mississippi know the history of Mississippi, and they don't like the fact that, you know, people see it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. Yeah, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Hey, make sure y'all sub to the channel too, man. Hit that subscription button. Everybody that's out there, man, hit that subscription button. Also, man, we do have membership packages. We have a 3-tier membership pack, man. You know, we got that bronze beer, silver beer, excuse me, and that black beer. So make sure y'all tap in, enjoy one of the membership packages. Well, grab one of the membership packages. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel.
Like the video, man. Thumb up the video, man. Like the video, man. Thumb up the video, man.
Like he said, you feel me? But yeah, man, you know, boy, Willis, I see you came back. You still waiting to say, hey, man, you got to come get me, man. I told you I'll let you take me on a boat ride, man. Just come get me. You come get me. Hey, we most definitely can go ride a boat together. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? AJ says, Stevie Wonder evidence witness. Can we let the investigation happen? Then maybe a trial. What do you say we hold off on lynching? You already know how badly that turned out. This motherfucker here, man. Oh, shit. Oh, that's funny, man. He said, I mean, if you want a race war, fine, but numbers still won't work against you. Being that only injury in autopsy shows so far. So you know what? Well, really, you need to knock off the KKK crap, or we're going to hog tie you up and offer you up for sacrifice. Wow. Boy, Village is on y'all side. But listen, if a race war was to jump off, man, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know, and listen, you know what? I'm not even gonna advocate or speak to that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even speak on that. Listen, you know, what I will say to that is some say it's already happening. It's already that already been in play. You feel me? Yeah, just Christina. The comments, just Christina. It's more. Listen, it's more of a battle within the comments than it is within the content. Again, you know, I never accused anybody. I never accused neither of these so-called friends of his. I never accused Bart. Me personally, as a person that's showing the content and commentating, I never accused anybody of anything. You know, now when I have people up on the panel, you know, I'll be a little bit, you know, pushy towards whatever, you know, theory or whatever they had going on or whatever the case may be. But still, I always try to play out the negatives, play out the positives. And again, these are the things you're supposed to do if you're investigating. Maybe not to the point of popular opinion or what we or everyone. I'm not going to even say we because I don't want to group me in that. But what a lot of other people are saying about the case, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of those things could be likely. Some of those things could be plausible, feasible, and some of those things could have happened. But I get it. You know, the easiest way to defend something like this would be to say there's not enough evidence, witnesses, and let the investigation happen, and then a trial, and then this, that, and the third. So now let me, and then if nothing comes about, and then you say, well, see, they didn't prove anything or they didn't get any, like, what? So we just go to Horn Island one day and we drown on an island full of thousands of people and no one knows what happened. Okay, that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now. But it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, but you know, your observation of reality is subjective to you, sir. I'm not assuming that you have a side. I'm just speaking and responding to what I hear for you. You know what I'm saying? You say the boat is waiting for, where the boat at? Where is it at? Boy Vegas. Where's the boat? I'm trying to jump on the boat, man. I'm trying to jump on the boat. So hold on, I thought he was taking me for the boat ride. He trying to take you for the boat ride, AJ? Hey, this motherfucking boat might be a little bit full, man. It might be a little bit full, man. You feel me? This boat might get a little bit full. Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, yeah, RIP to Nolan, man. Condolences to his family, man. This is a tragic incident, man. And, no one that I know, would want this to happen. You hear me? So, yeah, man, I hope it get, rectified. I hope they take their time. And like I said the other day, take a fine tooth comb, all the evidence. All the evidence. Yeah. What'd you say? You say the white boy is coming for you. What? That's why, man. These comments is crazy, man. What do you say? If you find them innocent, then we have to accept it. Clearly, you are saying you don't believe they're innocent. I'm not a judge or jury. That's true as well. But I mean, if they found them innocent, shit, they already done found them innocent. You really think they've been questioned or tried to put in a room and really interrogated? Nah, I doubt it. Hey, what happened? What happened, you little Jimmy? Well, we don't know. We think them. Okay, go home. Yeah, that was interrogation. That's what they did. He said, I got the rope and the treatment of waiting on anyone that wants that is wow. Wow, man. These people in their comments, man, you gotta love them. What's going on, Go Mike? How you feeling, man? This is crazy.
Everything good, man. What's popping?
Man, sitting there listening to these comments, you say, see how you presume? No, I didn't presume anything. I'm just reading the comments, brother. I didn't presume anything. I'm just reading the comments, man. I'm just reading the comments. So let me ask you a question then, AJ. So you don't think anything's fishy? Well, I'm not gonna even use the words fishy. So let me ask you a question then, AJ. Do you see any inconsistency in this case so far that you would say or raise your eyebrow suspicion? or you're just waiting on the investigation to take place? From anything that you heard, you just instantly rule out everything that you have heard. That's what I want to know. You're more than welcome to hit the link too. It says you already know it doesn't matter how much evidence there is. White is automatically not guilty. The whites run things. This motherfucker here, man. You said they already found them innocent. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was being sarcastic, facetious. You know what rhetorical means? I was being rhetorical when I said that. You feel me? But if we want to be truthful, yes, I do think they already found them innocent. Because I guarantee you, if it was me, if it was Goat Mike and another person of color that was on a boat with you, or with a person of European descent, I guarantee you by now, even with lawyers, even with my mama being a judge, me, Goat Mike, and whoever else would be behind bars until they figured all this shit out. Unless we made bond. Yes, I do honestly feel that way. Yes. I honestly feel if Nolan Wells was a Caucasian young man and those three friends were of color, they would already be incarcerated. Yes, I do. So that's why I say, yeah, they found it. But I was, being sarcastic when I said it originally. But now, if you want me to be frank with you, yes, I do. He said the whites are doing God's work. Wow. He said, I see hype and hoopla. The only thing evidence was the injury to the back of the head. See, now you're speculating because it's not necessarily an injury. The audio tape is suspicious. Okay, so if the audio tape is suspicious, what about the phone call with the grandfather? Don't nobody think that's suspicious? Everybody going around all this other shit with the audio that was played. What about the fucking audio that was played when the man said that he talked to his grandfather and the grandfather said they don't need a tow? He calling for a tow. He's calling for a tow, but the grandfather said, no, he don't need a tow. After she giving the captain all this, that, and the third, after he let her go ahead, and again, we can see if that's a real car. Let's forget what's in the background. Let's see if we can decipher or we can get to the bottom of that, because all those things are recorded. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if they are publicly really released, or if it's really already been released and that's the actual audio. You feel me? So how did the grandfather call the captain to tell the captain they don't need a tow? Like, you just got off the phone with the grandfather? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not, and so that don't mean anything, right? Let's just say it don't mean anything. But then again, like that's, you say so. What I think so far is he hit the back of his head. It does not show evidence of a beating. You say he hit the back. So, and again, see now you're speculating because people don't think it's necessarily a blow to the head. They trying to say it's from him laying on the autopsy table. And you're saying you think it's a blow to the back of the head, but they saying it's from him being on the autopsy table. But then again, the size, the placement of it doesn't relate. But then they said it's not a bruise. Now, it's not a bruise due to some type of blunt object striking the head or fall per se, versus some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Some type of afterlife type of blood settling in the occipital region. You feel me? But usually, like they say, it happens, on the back of the head, because the head could be hanging over. You feel me? The table, underneath the legs, a little bit on the lower back. You know what I'm saying? Just below what would be in front, the collarbone. I don't know what you would call it in the back of the body. But and specialists have came out and said this. They didn't have morticians, and again, but guess what? Again, I'm not a medical specialist. We can only see. And again, the second person that did perform the autopsy of the family, I don't think they did. I think he should have did a little bit more, but I don't think Crump and all them short. I really think they did a horrible job at that. You feel me? Like, I was even trying to figure out how. Never mind, because I don't want to do that. We ain't gonna do that to Crump. Not tonight. I'm not gonna do that to Crump. You feel me? But yeah, man. Like, a lot of times, when words was being used and spoken up there on that stage, a lot of us don't know what the hell they talking about, man. We think a lot of that is jargon. He said, "Keep up the great work, my wife." Hey, that is hilarious, man. He said, "Your boat is sinking about 31 feet or so. Why the Coast Guard informed not to insist?" I'm just asking, not making any conclusions. And that is true as well. 384, what's going on? Welcome back. Because I'm not going to, man. Now, mind you, we might be different people, right? You feel me? Black folks, you make the jokes that we can't swim and all this, that, and the third, and you want to be funny. I wouldn't give a hell if I was a goldfish. If I'm on the boat and I'm in my human form, you feel me? And I ain't got time to be transforming back into the goldfish. You feel me? I don't want to fucking sink in no boat. So if you gonna send me out again, Coast Guard, low guard, security guard, high guard, mid guard, ass guard, or anything with a guard, yes, send them motherfuckers immediately. Immediately send them. And then what's weird to me is that if I got a distress call as an operator, I'm instantly going to alert the Coast Guard or the authorities. And, and when I talked to the captain, the ones I told the captain, even, oh man, we only dealing with members, which was wild as fuck. So that means if you weren't a member and you were sinking, you were just dead in the fucking water that day. You know what I'm saying? According to what the fuck the captain was saying, because he was saying we was only dealing with membership. So if you ain't have a membership, more than likely you wasn't gonna get towed. And I get it because it was a high value and shit like that. But so I'm joking. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there was enough people out there or enough boats out there to, you know what I'm saying, get people away safely and securely. But isn't more testimony So certainly can change. Right. The grandfather had the equivalent of AAA, and then I want the Coast Guard response, which starts in fact. But yeah, but listen to what I'm saying. You said, but no. So the boy said he didn't want the Coast Guard, so she was calling. So she went out to CETO. So the person that, so when we saying captain, mind you, so that was the captain of the CETO, not the captain of the Coast Guard, brother. So that would have only cost whatever. You feel me? And so so Coast Guard wouldn't have came. So you trying to say the Coast Guard subcontracting out to CETO to go out there and do it? I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, my grandson would be worth that 5K too. Because I ain't like, come on, get him up off that water. Yeah, real shit. I'm getting him about the water. I'm gonna be mad at a motherfucker. I just spent it, but I'm gonna get him about the water. There's a rail around every boat. Natalie Wood had a similar injury when she slipped and drowned. Okay. You say, and again, he could have slipped. Yeah. So okay. So you say he slipped. So he slipped, hit his head, fell out the boat, drowned. Nobody seen him. Nobody jumped in the water if he was on the boat. So they was all on the boat when he slipped and fell out the boat. Nobody seen him, and nobody thought to, okay, let me jump in the water and get the fuck out of here, man. You gotta be kidding me, AJ. But I get it though. AJ. Additionally, the grandfather did not turn down the Coast Guard. The grandson told the operator, yeah, we know that. But he's saying, and so we don't know anything else about what the grandfather did. But he's speculating because all we heard was that the captain said he got off the phone with the grandfather, and the grandfather didn't saying they didn't need a tow. So again, he's saying he didn't want the Coast Guard to come. He just wanted a regular tow. Again, just like if you are in your car, they got it AAA on the water. You feel? It ain't had to be the Coast Guard. You feel? No, I don't want the Coast Guard. I want a regular tow. It's possible Grandpa was confused about who he was speaking to. Oh, AJ is a mess, man. Oh man, AJ. I hear you, AJ. I hear you, AJ. Yeah. 384, yeah. Yeah, when she asked did he want the Coast Guard, yeah, most definitely he was like, nah, I don't need the Coast Guard. No, he said that's a quick no. He said again, Natalie Wood, no one heard or saw anything then. So did Robert Ragnar murder her? You tell me, did he murder her? I murder her. I unalive her. I don't know. You tell me. Things to make you go, You know what I'm saying? I wonder if maybe a fight broke out and they were trying to get the hell out of there. Yeah, but they still see, but even if a fight broke out, just Keener, they still said they left him. Last time they seen them with the chick. And the young lady say, no, he was getting back on the boat. So guess what? So that means somebody got to be telling a fib here, right? Or can two things be true at the same time, like a broke clock? I'm just asking. So again, I'm not making any broad claims here, You say he sound like a good public attorney. He said exactly, I don't know, but it's just easy to speculate innocence as guilt. That's wild as hell, AJ, because, and I had to just sit back for a minute. There's too many people on that damn island. At one point in time, it was thousands on the island. And this is what the young man said. So we're going to say between the times of 3 and 7:30. Because they said they last seen him at 3. Right? You got people saying the last they seen him after 5. Maybe around 7:30ish, let's say. Or no. You have people saying they didn't see Nolan after 7:30 or around about that time. So what time was it when? Because did anybody ask Katie? Well, what time was it when Nolan was returning to get back on the boat with his friends? Simple question. Simple, very simple question. No one, well, Katie, well, what time was it when Nolan was going to meet up with his friends? If they say they last seen Nolan at 3 with Katie, well, Katie, what time was it when Nolan said, "Oh, what if she gives you a time that's closer to 4? That could potentially, or maybe, put them on the boat around at about that time when they said they asked him to get on, but he didn't want to get on. So when they asked him to get on, what time was it when they asked him to come on, let's get on this boat? Because they saying the last time they seen him was 3 o'clock. See what I'm saying? Everybody got a timeline, but I don't think they have a real definitive, actual, absolute timeline. Because if they last seen him at 3 o'clock, did anyone ask Katie, well, what time was it that he left you to go get back on this boat? You got people saying they seen him after 5. You got people saying, well, we ain't seeing him around 7:30. And mind you, everybody probably, now I know it's a small town like we've been saying or whatever the case may be, but I'm pretty sure everybody didn't know every damn body, so everybody didn't know no. So these people who they asking, or these people that saying that they are eyewitnesses to seeing him at around about a certain time, did they know Nolan? What are their relationships with Nolan? Let's put people in the lineup and tell them, pick out Nolan. I mean, well, we can't do that now because, of course, everybody know he. But I don't know, man. But I do hope we get some justice for the young brother. No. I'm not saying you speculating 384. I'm not saying you speculating, brother. I'm speaking in general, not necessarily just to you. 384. Most definitely, I'm not saying you speculating, brother. And like this mom just said, if it was my kid, I'd be questioning everything. And I don't even know if me personally, because I think somebody else asked me why. Because I said, I don't know why this case. I don't think. I forgot what some to that effect, whatever the case may be. But I just didn't think that something like this would be pushed due to, what it is, and it's getting the recognition that it's getting. And I'm very glad that it's getting the recognition because we do need to highlight these things. But to the people that like to say, well, you need to be highlighting this, that, and the third, and these unalivings and these killings. Listen, I want to go on note to saying that I acknowledge any and every violent, nonviolent, criminal, heresy, terroristic, racist, bigot, prejudice act of anything, whether it's commenced upon your own or whether it's done to others. It is egregious. It is unwarranted. It is unmoral. It is wrong. Just because I might not sit here and highlight every individual case that comes about, that doesn't mean that we as a people don't see, we as a people don't know. And not everyone that comes up here lives in communities where those type of things happen on a day-to-day basis, and some people are. I've been in a community of others where more crime and things happen. It's just sometimes it be that way. And we have to understand that we're the minority. For people who like to say, well, why do we always want to make it a this or that thing? When you're the minority and you've been oppressed, or a story or a narrative has been painted or pushed and taught and put upon you in a place where they claim you're not from, and then you got a third of people that, yes, we are. How dare you? When all throughout history, what's been going on has been happening, not just against a certain ethnic group, but against all people. And I understand and I get that, right? But that's you guys inherited DNA and lifestyle. This is facts. This is not something that I'm making up. This is not something that I'm speculating. And I'm not mad at it. Like, this is what's taught. This is what's taught. The Romans, the Greeks, Byzantine Empire, the Turks, the Vikings. Same thing, he gets it. Everybody get it, brother. Don't nobody know what's really happening right now. Oh, we what now? Right, 3-1. You always had it. I know you had brother. Don't nobody know. Nobody looks at the clock. That's why the friends are trying to give a timeline, in my opinion. That could be so, Cito. That might be so. Big shout out to my boy Cito. He said if he said no, I'm not letting I'm not getting on a boat. He would have said, let me get my phone. I believe that too. Regardless of whether I could get service or not. And I never, and again, that's something else that I just never said. And common sense is, of course, we know that, AJ. He's in some stranger's photo or video way in the background. They just gotta do the real detective work. So that means somebody had a phone. Yeah, yes, I try to be quite fair. 384, I try to, you know what I'm saying, take all approaches, pessimistic, optimistic. I play double advocate. I like to tittle talk because, again, like I say, I like to bring all different type of variables and just understand this, because I want it to be a conversation. I don't want it to be a point of contention like I be in the chat a lot of times with the different statements and comments and the hate that's being spewed. You know what I'm saying? Again, I always contend that I'm not saying that these boys or Bart did anything. Even the young lady Katie, I'm not saying that any one of these people who had contact with Nolan, they did anything to Nolan. But I will say again that I think it's quite suspicious that with an island of 1,000 or more people, no one knows, no one seen, no one heard, no one, which tends to make me believe it was something. And foul play doesn't necessarily have to be the foul play that you guys are thinking about that's being involved with its body being unalive. Foul play is foul play. I don't know if I got there. And that's the truth. And if y'all pulling up, why y'all keeping my phone? Oh, and Cito, good point. Y'all, let's paint another narrative around here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, because everybody doing it, right? But I'm not doing it in that way. I'm just, you know, I want to, you know, we just, right now, we just, you know, what if, so earlier I said he could have been drunk and they could have been fucking with him, talking about some, come on, get on the boat. He was trying to get on the boat. He pulled off. We was talking about the phone. What if he was trying to swim to him to get his phone because he was drunk? Get my phone, man. Y'all bullshitting, y'all playing. Come on, woo, woo. Get my shit. And in the process of him swimming to come get his phone, another boat could have potentially hit him, right? And they didn't know because they just pulling up or whatever the case may be, and they didn't know he was in the water or in that area swimming. You feel what I'm saying? And that bruise that was on the back of the head, because it could have been him in the water putting his head down, swimming, trying to get to the boat to get his phone. And boom, a boat come out. Like, so the people that was on the boat don't know shit. They don't know he was in the water swimming. They don't know how deep he was under the water. Shit, they just pulling up. They trying to dock. They trying to get out. They trying to have a good time. You see what I'm saying? So they don't know. They didn't just pull up to say, oh, we finna run fucking Nolan over. You know? But I'm not saying that happened. I'm just, you know, man, we don't, again, like I said, we don't know what happened. He say probably didn't happen on the island just because that's where they found the body. To have zero witnesses. Okay, so you think if he, well, no, because again, if they left him, listen, because I want to keep in mind, because if they left him, right, you know, or he said he wanted to stay or whatever, and they pulled off and he was still on the island, we don't know what happened in between that time that he was left on the island alone. Let's just say he wasn't on the boat and he was left on the island alone, right? And he wasn't in the water. Who was on the island with him when they left? How many people was there? You know, Miss Jen sent me a video that I refused to play because I just don't think. Oh, Miss Jen, you is crazy with that video. I might try to make that a shorter song. I don't know. Miss Jen sent me a video, man, of somebody getting dumped. I don't think that was no. And just like in that video, the picture that was took, and see, here we go. So for anybody to believe that them kids wasn't jumping off them boats with their phones, y'all fucking crazy. Excuse my French. Because how did this so-called picture that got took with the 3 little white girls and then a couple in the back get took that they trying to say is Nolan? So somebody took the risk to jump off that damn boat with their phone. You feel me? Facts. How to get that damn picture? And first of all, the young man was way too dark. That was in there for, but how they get that picture? Somebody had their fucking phone on that island. So again, if you're pulling off with my phone, give me my damn phone. I don't care if I can't get no reception. And I don't know, Miss Jen. I think a lot of folks out here, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Miss Jen. And we want to just throw out, he said if we just gonna throw out theories, he would have had his phone, not Katie. But Katie didn't have his phone. Katie didn't have his phone. Was AI. I don't even think that was AI. I think that probably was. It probably was real, but I don't think that was them. Well, that could have been any video of anybody fighting on the beach. You feel me? Like I don't think that was them. And I don't look, and I refuse to play the video because if I played the video, they would definitely try to say I'm pushing something. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Courtney Banks? How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? I definitely don't want to play the video because they already classifying people out here as pushing. You know what I'm saying? But again, the video doesn't definitively, you know what I'm saying, show it ain't like it was in fucking 4K and we can see every physical feature. Each and every individual that was, in the video. So we couldn't tell no way. I don't know if somebody had a hotspot out there on the island, and I don't know if that would have worked out there on that island. I don't know how remote it was or how far on the coast or off the coast it was. But I don't know. And I don't think it was that type of island because I don't even think the island had. If it wasn't that, it was just an island. There wasn't no running water, wasn't no electricity, wasn't shit on this island. It was just a space in the middle of the Gulf or out in the Gulf that motherfuckers go to the kill. Sand, beach, water around. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no bathrooms or no shit right there. Wasn't none of that shit out there, I don't think. I don't think it was a developed island. Yeah, they said no. They said his phone was on the boat. I think he said he might have left the keys at a friend's house who they spent the night at the night before. They rode out to Horn Island. So I don't think his keys wasn't on the boat, just his phone. And from the video that I played, Warren, I believe his name is, he said it was a lot of phones on the console. So, and then again, how did you know who phone was who, or if the phone that was on the boat was everybody on the boat's phone? Because again, they stated when they got back, they had to call people to come pick up their phones and notify people to come pick up the phone. So did they have to hit the phone to turn it on to see a picture? What if somebody didn't know a picture? Like, how did they know who phone was who? Like, you feel me? Did they get it? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is it's I don't know, just Kina. You telling me all them girls on the island and no one went to Snapchat? Yeah, so they were trying to say no, you couldn't upload pictures, so you could probably send out a text, maybe make a phone call, and it wouldn't be, so clear as we can hear, even with the phone call that was made to Cito. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of choppy. So they said you would have to wait. Like, so sometimes when I go places and my shit don't work on my phone, like if I'm recording a video or something like that, if I'm away or something like that, if I get back to the crib, around the Wi-Fi, even if my phone on, I might have just ran out of data or some shit, like, or just had a low grade bullshit ass phone or something like that. When I get back, or get around the spot that's, Wi-Fi and shit like that, not everything all the time, but for the most part, shit will start uploading and shit like that. So, but I don't know how Snapchat work with that, because I'm talking about like Instagram or some shit like that. I'm really not a big Snapchat. But they were saying though, if you were trying to upload shit, you couldn't upload shit. Now, I think maybe once they got into the water and they was getting like, so if we was on the island and here we did whatever we did, and then we got on the boat, we pulled off, it'll start uploading once you get back around some towers and signals and shit like that. But again, that's, for investigative people to figure out and tap into, and they know the distances of the phone poles and the connections, and they know all this, man. I'm pretty sure this is evidence and things that they could be potentially talking about and gathering. I don't know. You say just by sharing that you get banned. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing it no way. He said if you think these kids went out far enough, and no one had reception, all them kids wouldn't be out there. Yeah, no. You could still again. We could probably text, make a phone call, but I don't know. I ain't been to this island to know. I haven't been there to know. But you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, if we ask some people, you feel me, you know. Cat Daddy says, "Is this gay singles me?" I don't know. We might have someone in the chat for you, Cat Daddy. You know, search the chat. You might find the love of your life, my boy. You might find the love of your life. Wow. He says, I'm from Miami. We get a bunch of islands off the grid, and they all have some type of reception. One of the boys' mom went and got the phones. Well, yeah, one of the boys, went and got Nolan and her son phone, but it was a bunch of phones, and they was calling people, period, just came in to come get phones. So, that's what I'm speaking on. So, yeah. So, Nolan mom didn't go get his phone. Someone else picked it up, but when they got back, they had to call people or people's relatives to come get the phones or come get their phones because, you know, they left their phones behind or they left them on the boat. And like you say, his phone was in his buddy's car or his buddy's truck, I take it. Well, yeah, he said his buddy's truck along with his keys. Or no, I think they sent the daddy to get the keys or something like that. I think the next day or something like that, I think daddy, they said the daddy or father went back and got the keys. Something to that effect. He said, I wouldn't go if you tell me there's absolutely no reception out there. I mean, these young folks, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't be like, so if I'm out there, because, you know, I can. Cell phones weren't always available. So if I'm out there, man, we got enough smoke, you feel me? We got enough drink, you feel me? We got enough women, you feel me? We got enough party favors, you feel me? And I'm 18, 19, 20, 21, or whatever these, you know what I'm saying, kids are into. I'm out there. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't really thinking about no phone, me personally. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you say, Snapchat shit's only stay out there for on Snapchat for 24 hours anyway. So, like, even when the mom was talking about the snaps, I don't think the snaps was manually deleted. You feel me? Snapchat's only stay on phones for 24 hours for people that don't know. And for anybody that was saying that or anything relating to snaps being deleted, I don't know what the hell they talking about. Because your snaps only they instantly gone. They only stay on there for 24 hours. Only way you see that damn snap again if it come up on your memory, and that's an automatic thing. So how would you be able to call for help if necessary? So everyone on the island went in danger, so no one could reach out. So again, you can make a phone. Did you not hear what I said? You can make a call and you could text. And even with the calls that you would make, they would still be probably a little choppy in certain spots and places. Again, as if when he was calling, you heard how it was choppy. But as far as uploading video, you couldn't upload video. So the reception was not that good for you to upload things. It's what I heard them state and say about when you're out there on the island. So now that's when we go talk to a bunch of people and see if that's true. Are there certain spots? You know, what if we brought an outside hotspot? Could it be possible? And then again, would have to be a hotspot, right? That's going to be capable of holding thousands, and I don't think they had that out there. I mean, brother, you know, maybe, could be, maybe. And well, I don't want to say that, Ms. Jen, when you're 18, you don't care about those things. As a young man, I want to say that, but nowadays you can't say that, right? But still, at 18, bro, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get on the broads. And then guess what? I still gonna want my phone because unless you just trying to hood, you feel me, right? While you out there, which still would probably be difficult, but I'm pretty sure it happens, right? But how you gonna keep in contact with anybody that you come across? You feel me? If you ain't got your phone, you can't get an Instagram, you can't get a number, you can't get nothing. You just out there bare ass. Ain't no pens, ain't no paper. Again, this is not like it's an inhabited island. This is still just a fucking island. 12 miles long and a mile wide, 2 miles wide, or whatever fuck, something like that. Yeah. Ain't no bathrooms, ain't shit out there. It's just the island and the people. And then, see, unless you're a telecommunications specialist, I'm not going to say it depends on the phone company. I'm going to say if you out there on that island, and there's that water, that water creates an electromagnetic field as well. And, we already have a natural one. It's a lot of scientific things. That would, back up the reception issue and uploading issue. All the electrical engineering things that would, you feel me? So we got to know that as well. So anything or anytime I say something, and like I say, I propose different narratives and variables as well because I don't know and I wasn't there, and I try to do that without too much on it or any speculation. Again, of course, and I don't really say I speculate. What I try to do is try to, give some foresight and insight. Maybe potentially could have been, you know what I'm saying, with all and any outcome that we can think about. I talk to people every day sometimes. Well, I ain't gonna say every day. Of course, I talk to people every day, but not about this per se. But since I have been doing this and I asked a few people a few questions, I always, come out with something different, from what people have said. And I'll be like, damn, I know it's all about. I never know. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you just see things different. People just perceive things different. And different are just, and different is just, something that's innate in most people who are unique. We can't all. Yeah. But again, man, RP to Nolan Wells. Condolences to his family, man. I just wish them the best. And I hope they get justice for him and, may his spirit, be upon us. And with his family, because he moved on, man. He fighting a good fight with the ancestors from beyond this physical realm. You feel me? So yeah, man. Nolan Wells, y'all. Hey, if that ain't toxic, shit, if this shit ain't toxic, I don't know what is, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up for Toxic Tuesday, man. Appreciate my brother for hitting the panel, man. Listen, make sure y'all go tap in with TMB 4.4, the podcast. Make sure y'all go hit my brother's channel up, man. Make sure y'all go sub up over there and tune in and, you know what I'm saying, pay their brother some homage. Make sure y'all subbing up over here on Bearded Conversation, man. We got something going on every day of the strong, Saturday to Sunday, man. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So 9 p.m. Central Time to 11. Sometimes we go over depending upon what we're doing. But yeah, if you're new here, if you've never been here, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all, after y'all do that, come on over here, sub up to the channel. And I pretty much, man, I got a need for understanding, knowledge, and the thirst for the people. Whatever color, skin color, or whatever you think I am, or I am, I would real understand for people. Yes, sir. Effective communication too, man. Gotta have that. Being effectively communicating with each other, man. I ain't talking about just hollering and listening or always talking about some we gonna agree to disagree type shit. Perspectives, understanding, being empathetic and seeing things from different point of views. I get it, I understand it. But we gotta come to a point where we know morally, man, where we understand together morally that certain things are just wrong and certain things shouldn't be tolerated. Right? You know what I'm saying? Certain behavior isn't just, you know. And we don't want to excuse it or blame it or try to put it off on a certain culture or that's how we are or that's the way things have to be. We don't want to do that. We never want to do that. Not a good thing at all. Let's see, don't say Fambo or Metro the only one that ain't gonna get no signal. Metro PCS. He said, I seen the variety is crazy, man. He say this South America can't just turn a blind eye to. Yeah. Hey, listen, man. Everybody in the chat, man. Big ups to y'all, man, for joining the channel, being on the channel. Again, salute to my brothers. Monkey Man, man. Like I say, go sub up to 10 people, Monkey Man 4.4 the podcast. If you're new over here on Bearded Conversation, man, before you get up out of here, hit that like button, sub up to the channel. Big up to all my Twitch, Kick, and Facebook supporters, man. Don't forget to give me a like, follow, and share over there. And if you're over there, come back on over here and do the same on the YouTube. Big ups to all my YouTube people, man. My supporters, my subscribers. Big ups to y'all, man. Also, man, big ups to all my kings and all my goddesses that's moderators in the chat, man. You feel me? Hey, man, with everybody coming together as a collective and having these conversations and watching these reactions and really talking it out and really seeing things for what they are, outside of how you want them to be. That's key. Really seeing things for what they are, outside of what you want them to be. And listen, and I'm talking to everybody because everybody has a narrative and everybody has a point of contention and everybody has an ability to analyze and assess what the fuck they want to and perceive what the fuck they want to perceive and believe what the fuck they want to believe. But just because you doing it don't mean that it's right. Now, I will say this. It also means just because you do it don't make it wrong because you have the freedom. Well, I don't even want to say freedom. You have the ability to make your own choices and decisions. And you can determine those outcomes of those choices and decisions by your actions and how you apply these things. You feel me? We just got to be a little bit more careful and selective in what we do and how we do and who we do it with. You know? And again, man, like I say, this tragedy, it won't be forgotten. Hopefully, you know, we get some type of memorial or some type of something erected in memory or dedication of Nolan Wells, because this one is going to be, if we can change our narrative and do things better, you know. And if I was accepting of a Black History Month, if I was an individual who was accepting of a Black History Month, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not Black, first of all, I'm more brown than anything, but I'm melanated, you feel me? So if I was accepting of this melanated history month, you know what I'm saying, that they give us in February, y'all know I say it's 365 days, well, 66 days of the year, you feel me? Because every day you wake up, take a breath, put your feet to the ground, you create history, you feel me? You great, be great. No, you great, you are great, you know what I'm saying? And that not only goes for melanated individuals, that goes for everyone. Don't give a fuck if you're Asian, Polish, Irish, Muslim, Christian, Baptist, Catholic, Lutheran, Satanist. Don't give a fuck who you are. Be great. Have morals, have values, have an understanding, empathetic. Step outside of what you know to unlearn, to grow. And with that comes accepting accountability on a lot of things. And I know that's hard I know that's not something that people want to do. You know, I have my own struggles. I fight with a lot of things as well. Can't nobody that's watching, that have watched, that's going to watch, that's going to get this far in the program. You can't tell me you haven't struggled within yourself. You know, we all have. We all do at some point in time. No. I am brown. I will not let you say that to me. I am brown. Oh my goodness. Y'all, listen, y'all, before I get up out of here, I'm going to read this comment. Quick random question on some different subject. Is it possible that LeBron switched his team he's going to now is actually part of some ritual, which is also connected to Kobe's death?
Man, who said that bullshit, man?
Conspiracies. Bearded conspiracies.
Miss Jen said it.
I don't hear that shit, man. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Well, you know they said it was a conspiracy about Kobe death because you know Kobe was getting some money from some folks, man, $1 billion to start a basketball league to rival the NBA, and you know what I'm saying Silver didn't like that and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of shit I've been hearing a lot of shit.
Oh,
You feel
man.
me? Listen, I'm not saying I believe this shit, right? I'm not you don't hear me talking about shit like that. Have you ever heard me report or come up here and say anything of those? Like, you don't hear me say. Now, when you get to aliens, you know, shit might be a little wacky, you feel, but hey, I don't give a fuck. I believe in aliens. But whenever you hear people come up and speak about that, now listen, sometimes it depends on who telling the narrative. It could be interesting. But yeah, I don't know, Miss Jen. I'm gonna put it like that. We ain't gonna speak on that. I don't know about that, man. That's another rabbit hole, and I ain't gonna not right now. We ain't gonna go down there, Miss Jen. Yeah, you the same color as your poop. Put your arm in the toilet. God damn it, you're brown. You know what I'm saying? If you pull out a brown crayon out the crayon box and a black crayon out the crayon box, I bet you more. I'm telling you, bro, because I got a black phone right here, bro, and I'm definitely more brown than anything. But anyway, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? My Swisher papers that I pull out, I'm definitely more that. But anyway, you feel me? Like a copperish tone. You feel me?
Peter, you know, I don't like the term African American either, man.
African American, black, Negro, all that extra shit.
I don't like that, man. I think that's a disrespect to the Africans.
Man, look. I'm a melanated individual. Well, we all have melanin. Yeah, well, I'm a more melanated individual. Fuck it. We more melanin. God damn it. We the more melanin folk. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But see, but that happens when, you know, through the system. And again, see, and that's another thing that, you know, people like to say, oh, well, that happened to you. But see, but we're so displaced. And for you guys who are from a different understanding, can't understand how a displaced people would be because you're not displaced. You know, you don't try to open the eyes and look and understand or put yourself in that plight or put yourself in that space of being displaced where you don't know anything about nothing, where you have to speculate, where you have to guess. You feel me? And I guess that's why black folks is, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the white folks that's come on the channel, and no disrespect, when they, oh man, you guys are speculating, you guys, you know, guess what? God damn it, that's why we good at speculating, because we trying to figure out where the fuck we from. So we attach ourselves to Christianity. We attach ourselves to the Moors. We attach ourselves to the Hebrew Israelites or the Israelites. We attach ourselves to Catholicism. We attach ourselves to the Islam, the Nation of Islams, the Sunnis, the Shias, the Sufism. You know what I'm saying? We attach ourselves to shit other than what the fuck we should be attaching ourselves to, and that's each other. I guarantee you, If you took a little bit more time to hug a motherfucker, look a motherfucker in the eyes and talk to him like how you supposed to be talking to him and feeling them and showing empathy how you supposed to be feeling them and showing empathy, I guarantee you all that religious shit that the rest of the motherfucking world believe in, and I don't give a fuck how popular it is, that would none of that shit matter. The only thing that would be mattering is your mother, your father, your child, the person that's next to you in your community, your neighbor, the people that's around you that you give and show support to. That's the only thing that would fucking matter. That would be the only narrative that you would have to push. And I don't give a fuck what color you are. And if there's other people in other nations of people that's out there doing it, God damn it, so be it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not speaking to them. I'm speaking to the people that are like me or that are from me or from my ancestry that are not doing it. So when people come up here and they speak about, oh, well, this, that, and the third, or they get in the chat, bro, you have to understand. Now, mind you, I'm going to be the first to say some of the shit they be saying is, all right, I feel you on that because it's 2026, man. We got enough shit, but we don't have enough shit because of the psychological constraints of the bullshit narratives and the bullshit environmental adaptations that had to be had and other things as far as systemic racism and things of that nature that have been placed in this society that has given us these social constructs of black and white and Asian and whatever the fuck that we got to fight against and break out from. We need a reprogramming. We need a debugging. And if you want to believe you indigenous and you come from this motherfucker, hey, so be it. Maybe you do. I'm with you. But when you're displaced as a people, when you have no knowledge and you turn and people feed you things, and the people that feed you the first things that you learn that as far as the education goes outside of your household where your mom and your father is, and just or outside of your neighborhood where usually your ethnicity and the things that we do we put out as our bullshit culture. And you learn certain things, but outside of that, person that's pushing and feeding you this fucking educational system don't know anything about you. So now you take that into mind first, that they don't know anything about you. And you're learning under a system that's never meant for you to even move forward. And what I mean by move forward is I mean real fucking progression. Not getting a fucking job, being stuck, paying taxes out here where you can barely eat off shit. Generational wealth ain't no fucking happenstance or no coincidence. That's a plan, financial plan. Again, generational wealth ain't no happenstance. That is a plan, well thought out financial plan that was instituted, implemented, and applied. And it wasn't for everybody. And everything ain't for everybody. Real shit. I ain't gonna say that. I know everything ain't for everybody. For real. I mean, but you know, listen, man. Everybody got their own understanding, their own perspectives about the change, how you want shit to change, how you want shit to be. And I don't want to say that this Nolan Well case brought about that shit. This shit been going on and been happening since Dr. King, Malcolm X, fucking Marcus Garvey, anybody else you can fucking name. Frederick Douglass, George Washington Carver, all this shit. Come on, man. Yeah. And at what point do we look at the numbers and realize that you are outnumbered, right? You know what? I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna leave that out. You feel me? I'm gonna leave that to me, and if I want to dispose it some other type of form of communication, I will. I'm not gonna say that. You feel me? You're gonna have to fight for it and work for it and come get it if you want to take it. I'm gonna say that. We ain't gonna put the plan out there. Hey, learn these laws too, man. Learn these laws, man. Before I get up out of here, that's important, man. You know, we gotta learn these legal systems. We gotta learn these laws, and to learn how to appropriate yourself in a society, bro. If you're gonna be in a society, learn how to appropriate to it. You feel me? Like real shit. Like, man, it's a battle. It's a war, man. You feel me? But no, you great though, man. You feel me? You got great beginnings and you got great endings. You know, that middle might not be so great, but make it, you know what I'm saying? Make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? But Two Wheels, close us out, man, while you up here. We finna get on up out of here, man. We've been rocking 3 hours.
Oh, I'm telling my headphones on.
Hey, man, hit that shit, man.
What the what was it? The greater the challenge, the greater the testimony.
Yeah, he said the greater the talent, the greater the testimony. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that. I like that. I like that. Hey, man. So what you do? So I feel like you be going to look up shit just because you know I'm gonna ask you to close it out at the end of the night and shit.
Man, I can look up that shit, man. I get tired. I get tired doing it, bro. If I did, I'd be coming off with that shit from the fire, bro.
Okay. All right. Some of that shit be sounding good. We gonna have to get a Mr. AKA book a you know what I'm saying, closing out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, man. You know what I'm saying? That boy.
Oh yeah, Miss Jen, I love you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She gonna say too well, you know about that love, ain't know about. It was a script that wasn't written for somebody. Yeah, man. Listen, man. I enjoyed everybody being out. Big ups to everybody for being in the building today, man. Big ups to my blood up in the panel. Big ups to my panel security, Two Wheels, man. In the building. Who else slid through? Big ups to Gold Mike. He slid through for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Doors slid through for a minute on the panel. Jumped off. Yeah, big ups to everybody, man. You feel me? Y'all should have been here on time, man. I'd have let y'all get off what y'all wanted to get off. You feel me? But when y'all ain't get here, man, you know, I went to what I, you know what I'm saying, know best. And that's, you know what I'm saying, doing what we do here on Bearded Conversation, man. So go Mike Doors, you feel me? We're gonna try it again tomorrow. You feel me? If y'all on time. If not, you feel me? Hey, we gonna do what we do. And that's continue to be great, man. Y'all know what it is, and y'all know what I like to say. I'm gonna leave y'all like I came to you. Let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. Once again, let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. And lastly, family, let's keep everyone in our thoughts, our prayers, our views, and meditations. And don't forget to master these 5 key components of life. That's love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. That's love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. And one last time, family, for those in the back that was doing something else instead of listening to me. That's love, peace, respect, motivation, and inspiration. And don't forget the main component, that glue that holds all of these things together. That's that support, y'all. So don't forget to E40 that thing and sprinkle a little support on top, because a little support for a long, 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 long way, y'all. Hey, man, y'all know what it is, man. Bearded Conversation every day at the strong, 9 p.m. Central to 11 p.m. Central Time. Sometimes we go over, man. Hey, those that fuck with us, fuck with us. Those that don't, fuck with us anyway. Hey, all superheroes don't wear capes, but they still need their theme music. So to all my superheroes out there, all my Beardonians, and all my beautiful people, man, no matter who you are and where you are, man, continue to be great. Continue to strive for success, continue to succeed, and continue to help and support each other, man. And let's grow into better beings, man. and let's rise against all the foolery. You feel me? We out, y'all.
Guys, 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 my name is Cito. Guys, you already know that, dog. This the hottest show you gon' find around. If young niggas ain't known, you need to ask around. This is bearded conversation. It's all love and no hate. Around here we good, but we aim to be great. Dip back in the bay, enjoy your Scooby snacks. Around here we just talk about this and all that. We talking real life, every day and every night. And if you need to clear the air, you can bring your wife. We got church on Sunday, that's on the west side. We got virtual reality, in case you're scared of outside. See, we got what you need, and that's a guarantee. The best thing about it, it's absolutely free. Bearded conversations, all love ain't no haters. Enjoy Scooby snacks, while we get back to the business. Don't matter if you black or white, who you think is wrong or who is right. These are just opinions, I'm inside from a different walk of life. Yeah, see, my name is Cito. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, buy this man a coffee. Don't forget to lead over follow. Don't forget to love those that love you. And don't ever forget that you ain't never been richer than you are right now.
Video man, thumb up the video man. Like the video man, thumb up the video man.
You feel me? Go fast. Go talk about some who is this. He dope as fuck. We know who it is. He is quite narcissistic. I would say he said his name about 30 times in the song. Miss CC in the building. Miss CC. Hey man, listen, man. Mods, if you got channels, put your links to your channels in the chat before we get up out of here. Before we get up out of here, mods. If we got links and you got channels and y'all doing stuff and y'all got content that y'all trying to push, and if y'all trying to gain subscribers, put y'all links to y'all channels in the chat. Also, man, I forgot my boy, man. Big shout out to 31Is8, and don't forget the Ocho, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Hey, big shout out to Bearded and Is8 Management, and don't forget the management. You know what I'm saying? My boy hit the panel. You feel me? Came up here and gave me my flowers earlier a little bit. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I rock with my boy. Big shout out to Brian, man. Big shout out to 31Is8, man. You feel me? He fell through as well. Hey, man, y'all know what I like to say before we all get all the way up out of here, man. Hey, when we come together, may we always meet on a level. Once we in each other's presence, may we always be humble and plumb. And when we leave each other's presence, may we always part on the square. Samota B, Samota B, Samota B. So may it be, family. Peace, y'all. Hey, man, y'all know what it is, man. Bearded Conversation. Hit that like button for your boy. Sub up to the channel. Share me out. Again, every Saturday to Sunday, man, we got something going on. Every day of the strong, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for Wild Ass Wednesday, man. Never know what's going to happen. Never know what you're going to get. Y'all know what it is, man. Same brown time, same brown channel. Y'all come brown now, you hear? And don't forget, if you talk brown to me, I talk brown back at you. That's for you, Miss G. You feel me? Hey, man, hit that like button. Share your boy out, man. All my mods, don't forget, put the links to your channel in the chat, man. And make sure y'all go sub. Make sure y'all go support, man. Hey, like I always say, go support those who support me because I support them until further notice. You feel me? Peace.